Greetings to the world. Hope everybody's doing good out there today, tonight, this afternoon, this morning, whatever it is, wherever you're at. I am still Cam, and this is still the Real Resilience Talk podcast. This is the conversation where we have some honesty, some candor, some realness about the subject of resilience, how to get it, how to maintain it, how to mess it up. Got to say out front, you might hear some bad words on here because it's First Amendment, baby. We are supported, inspired, and sponsored by the First Amendment in this. But it's just some people getting together, man. You might hear people reference certain military experiences because sometimes we have military veterans on the show. But I want to say up front, this is no affiliation with the DOD or any official organization. This is just some humans expressing themselves. So talking about resilience, y'all have heard me, man. I've said it many a times before. Hey, ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. So that's my little introduction. Today I'm very fortunate to have a good guest, a great dude, a great protector of the Constitution, just a good overall human, and I'm glad to call him friend. I got right up on here, Mr. HANDRO. Alex, how do you want to go by today, sir? Say good morning to the world.
Good morning, all. Definitely not Alex. That's definitely a name I've never liked.
See, he hates Alex. Don't call him Alex.
But the first one is good with me.
HANDRO.
Yes,
That's
sir.
my man HANDRO right here, man. So, hey, man, we talking about resilience. What's your background and what does it mean to you, bro? Resilience.
Oof, resilience. I like it. Getting right into it.
Jumping right out the gate, dog.
Not even hesitating. Let's see. I feel like everyone has their idea of resiliency, and being resilient is, hey, you dealing with something, and how do you bounce back from it and everything? How do you come back from it? But my interpretation as of recently is, hey, what mistakes have you made, and how are you able to come back from that mistake and learn from it and grow from it? Do you continue to go down that path, or do you help yourself grow and learn from that experience? And that's kind of how I look at resiliency and maintaining resilience.
No, I like it. I like because you're basically saying, so you go through something, you bounce back, but not only, and somebody's going to be like, he's so corny, he's stealing from Joel Osteen. But this is so true, man. How are you not only going through it, but how are you growing through it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, because a lot of times we deal with hardships. We deal with things that come our way that we weren't anticipating. But sometimes we're the ones that bring the hardships upon ourselves.
Oh, man.
And it's just like, how are we growing from that mistake that we did? And that's how I'm looking at resiliency.
Yeah, on a personal level. So like basically what you're affecting, but also through, our lives. Everybody has a yesterday. We all got one. If you're listening to this, you have a yesterday because you're obviously here today. So congratulations, as the nice little Facebook post wants to say. You survived all of your days up to now. You survived all of your hard times up to now, so you can get through this one too. And, we try not to say, be corny and cliche. Again, shout out to Uncle Rex with the track right there, Second Winds. And it's so cool that it's titled that track. It's called Second Winds. So bounce back, resilience, and everything like that. But not only like the pie in the sky, the happy talk, the, rose-tinted glasses, bumper sticker shit. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I often can do that because it just feeds me. But tangible shit, like tangible ways. What are some tangible ways that you have met and seen how much resilience you have, or have you had to apply it and be like, oh shit, I need to be more resilient, like tangible ways?
I think with going through certain things, I let it consume me. And then understanding that what I'm doing right now is not it. And I need to make some changes.
Yeah.
I used to stress hard. I'll tell people about this. I used to get bald spots in my back of my head. And it was one of those waking moments where I was like, man, this isn't it. The way I'm conducting myself, the way I'm moving with life right now, is not it. I got to make some changes to eliminate this stress, mitigate this stress. And I think just finding healthy outlets. I think something we're huge on. It's something we talk about all the time. Is healthy finding outlets that can help divert that energy to something positive, productive. Yeah. And just not letting these instances consume you.
Yeah. Because they do pass. Like I know it's again cliche, but like this too shall pass. I read often that that's what Lincoln said during the Civil War. You imagine like getting picked for the job you always wanted, and then there's a war because of it.
No, absolutely.
Obviously there was underlying factors, but like literally Americans are killing each other because what popped it off was him getting elected, and he would often say, "This too shall pass," and good or bad, all of this is temporary. All of this, and that's to include our moods. I was actually standing right here in this spot in the last 72 hours where we're at right now recording, and I was like, oh man, I was so crushed at some things that had occurred, and somebody was like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm gonna get over it." You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean I didn't embrace it. I didn't go through the feelings, but like, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. And you know what? That night, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be good because we got the open mic tonight.
I think you're used to it though, as a Sixers fan at this point.
Oh, he's trying to talk shit. He's saying Celtics fan. What's up? Oh yeah, he's gonna talk bad about my Celtics because we down 2 games in the series. It's okay. We'll make it. Don't call it a comeback, right? But Heat in 5. That's what he's saying. That's what he's putting his money on the table for. Yeah, and I know it's true, especially in sports. Oh my goodness, you do have to be a resilient fan. Shout out to the Sixers though. Just lost Doc Rivers, man. They don't play in Philly. They don't play. They just buy. I don't care if you were a starting point guard for years and took the Magic to the finals and took the Celtics to the finals and won, and you come here and bring us to the Eastern Conference Final, we're gonna get rid of you. But I digress. This is not a da-na-na, da-na-na.
Yeah.
That's me. With my I put the high definition in ADHD. But the healthy outlets. I was standing right here and I was crushed, man. I was just like, if it would have been me in another point in time, like there's sometimes you just be like, man, like it's like that. I forgot his name. You're gonna remember his name, but I don't want to live no more. Like I just want Logic.
Oh yeah.
I just want to die or whatever.
Yes.
And then the song he's saying, no, I want to live some more. You know what I mean, basically.
Yeah.
And I just probably messed this whole song up, but you feel like that, like you feel crushed. But I also knew on the other side, to the person I was talking to who's checking up on me, I was like, nah, it's all good because tonight we got an open mic.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that. But it has something to look forward to. And I'm not saying what works for me is what works for everybody else, but you're also alluding to it too, that the healthy outlets, the having something to look forward to, does that pull you out of ruts?
Absolutely. One thing I learned about in the last couple of years, definitely in the last 2 years, which has helped me immensely, is routine. Routine.
Y'all hear that?
You
Routine.
need routine. If you have something to look forward to, like you did, perfect example, you said the open mic nights.
That's right.
If you have something you're looking forward to, you're anticipating, something you're working towards that day, it goes so far because it helps you focus your mind on something that it's a productive, healthy outlet. And getting into routine has helped me so much because now I find myself going to sleep earlier, waking up earlier because I have a busy day and I have a lot going on. And it's just, you find time, like I was telling my friend last night, we find time for what's important. You start eliminating.
Y'all heard that? So everybody has the same 24 hours a day. That's right. You don't have any more extra?
No, I wish I did.
We all have the same,
right?
Okay. But you make time for the things we make time for? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, or not a famous, but a thing I tell people all the time is when people complain, well, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for school. I don't have time to do these workouts. I don't have time to go volunteer or whatever it may be. And not that I do all that stuff. I do a little bit of it, but not all of it. But I always tell them, hey, if it's important to you, you'll find time for it.
That's right.
Like, it's as simple as that.
Simple as that.
I mean, it's like a relationship. If someone's important to you, you'll find time for it.
That's true.
If your family's important to you, you'll find time for them. You find that happy medium, that balance. If working out is important to you, you find time for it. If getting a degree is important to you, you'll find time for it.
Yeah.
It's small stuff like that, man. Like, you make time for what matters to you.
Yeah.
What matters most, priorities and all that.
That's right. And this, I'm gonna say this in a figurative way. This is a metaphor because it's not all about money, right? But I had a boss one time. Shout out to my man, P. Stay Flow Stamus. You know who you are, brother. We worked together in a very demanding job, and I was like, man, I wanted to take the easy way out and have just a smooth time, and we had to do something to make the team we were with better. And I was like, what can't we just have them just do this preventive maintenance stuff kind of thing? And he was like, nah. He said, Cam, it comes down to this, man. There's only 2 times to make money. Again, figurative, y'all. There's only 2 times to make money, when you want to and when you don't. But we always got to get paid.
Yep.
And there I was moving towards the thing I didn't want to do, but eventually made us the best performing team in what we were doing at the time. But it really does, whether it's a workout, whether it's that phone call, whether it's our ass right now at 5 a.m. doing this conversation to hopefully help somebody else out and to help ourselves as well, because it's therapeutic and just expressing what a person you trust and have a relationship with. You have to do it. You have to do it, like, but you got to make time for it. And I think that outside accountability, does this work for you, like committing to certain things and then like you like, fuck, I don't want to have to do this, but okay, I said I was going to do it. Like, does that help you at all?
It really does. So last year, springtime, I was like, I need to get into school.
Yeah.
I'm wasting time.
School isn't like higher
College.
education, college.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
So I was like, I need to get into school. I'm wasting my time. Like, and that's really big with me too, is time. And I express that to all those that are around me. And I asked them, what are you doing with your time?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing with your time? Like an exercise I did one time with the guys, with my team, is I was like, close your eyes. Think about when you go home for the day. And they're like sitting there. They all have their eyes closed and they're sitting there. I'm like, think about when you go home for the day. All right, what are you doing first? Chilling, relaxing, change. What are you doing? You turn it on Netflix, you turn it on video games, you laying down, you go and get food. And then what happens from that moment you get home to the end of the day, to the end of the night, to when you wake up?
Yeah.
What did you do what did you do? What are you normally doing?
Right.
And it's just like, what do you want to show for it when it's all said and done?
Yeah.
Like, what do you like? Are you being productive with your time? Or are you just rinse and repeat every day the same thing?
Yeah, just going through the motions.
I beat this video game.
Okay, great.
Wait for the next one.
Yep.
But to track back to what I was saying is last spring, I was like, I need to get into school. I need to start it. And I went to the education center. I talked to the lady, and I was like, hey, I want to get in school. And then they started asking me questions. I was like, look, stop enabling me. I was like, just get me into school right now.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things, like you're saying, like, I just had to do it. I couldn't just sit there and think about it, pondering on it anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, just get me into it.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna suck, but I know I need to get into it. But that's another thing I'm big on, is we got to make ourselves uncomfortable at times to be better.
Yes.
I mean, people are so comfortable and in their box, and they're afraid to step out of it. I finally was like, I need to get out of this box that I'm in and do something that I'm not used to, and that was school.
Yeah.
And so I started school. I stopped recently, but I start back up again, and I'm excited, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that goes into my routine, goes into a productive habit for me right now.
Yeah. No, it's outstanding, man. And I really, sometimes some of the stuff that I do here, and this is not a humble brag, so please don't hear me wrong. We're trying to give tangible ways and examples, because a lot of times we say cliche, good to go stuff, and then it's like, well, how do I actually apply that, right? Yeah. So that's a big thing we want to do on this show is educate people on how to apply it. And maybe they take it, like Bruce Lee, I'm gonna quote him again, you take something, whatever it is, and then you make it your own, and you you throw away whatever you don't need, and you just like he did with, I'm wearing the shirt actually, the Jeet Kune Do, using no way is way, and you take what works and what doesn't. But another thing Bruce Lee said, to your point on time, is, and y'all hear me now, if you love life, don't waste time, for time is what life is made up of. And these ancient philosophers, they talk about, we're so protective of our money and our possessions and our stuff, right? Stuff. Look up George Carlin's Stuff. I'll post it in the show notes. But stuff. But our time, the actual most precious resource we have, we just shit that shit away, man. We just give it away. And if I wasn't guilty of it myself, I wouldn't be speaking to this. But you are what you do. Talk is cheap, actions speak. And sometimes, and back to where I was doing what could be perceived as a humble brag, people are like, how do you do all these events? And, you do this podcast now, and like, when do you sleep? And dude, you make time for the things you make time for. That's what it is. And then you prioritize. But at the same time, I do some of these things just as a forcing function to make me do some of these things. Yeah. Like you said to the people, don't enable me. Yeah. Don't give me some reasons to put this shit off anymore, right? But like for me, like we do that castle run every week. If I don't send out that all hands email and make that all hands post on Facebook, like the other night, I got back from open mic late, and I was like, well, Merry Christmas. I got to be a little uncomfortable. I lacked a little bit of sleep yesterday, but guess what? I got through it. I went home at lunch. I took a little nap, and then I carried on the rest of my day. But the fact of the matter was, I knew from sending out that email, I knew from sending out that Facebook post to everybody and hyping it up and talking trash to everybody, because I'm always like, hey, man, so you really busy at 5:15, huh? I know everybody's really busy at 5:15 in the morning, right? Did not want to go, did not want to, but when I got there, I did it. I started moving. I was like, okay, we're good, right? Human beings have survived off way less sleep, have survived off way less resources. Yeah. I'm going to be aight for a little bit with just maybe an hour or two less of sleep. That doesn't mean sleep's not a priority, so don't hear me wrong, and rest isn't a priority. But what I'm saying is I would have kept my lazy ass in bed and been like, I deserve it. I need to hit my 7 to 9 hours. I have to, and if I don't, then, but hey, I got up, I did it. But if I didn't put that outside accountability, bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, if it was just me, like, hey, my goal is to go to run this week on Thursday to the castle, I wouldn't have done that shit. But when I knew people was out there waiting on a ride, and people were like, where's this dude? He be talking shit. Where's he at? You know what I mean? It made me be like, got to get my ass there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the very passive aggressive effective way that I do it myself with certain things, and that might not work for somebody else. They might not want the obligation or whatever like that. But for me, I'm not too good at taking care of me, so it helps me to have a reason to do it for others, right? So end state was I fucking ran up the hill. So did they. It all happened, and I didn't feel sorry for myself and sulk and fucking sleep in because I deserved it. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
I kind of went on a rant there, but that principle can apply to so many things.
Yeah.
It can apply to so many things. Just putting that outside accountability on yourself. So what you think about that?
I think one thing someone like yourself does, and I try to look at it from that perspective as well, is that when we do these things, we think about the ones that are watching.
Yeah.
We think about like, how is it if I sit here and tell these guys, hey, healthy outlets, be productive, do things, do great things, and empower yourself, learn to be better, do things that make you better. But if we're telling them all this stuff and we're not doing it ourselves, how does that look?
Like you, Uncle Rico,
like
from
how does
Napoleon Dynamite,
like
has been?
Yeah, like how does it look if I'm sitting here telling these younger guys, hey, get into school, and I'm not even in school myself.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and how do I tell them, hey, go for a run, hey, you got to get out there and run, be faster.
Yeah.
But I'm not out there doing that. I tell these guys, get up in the morning. Like 3 months ago, you would ask me to do this. I would have been like, oh man, I gotta go to sleep. I wake up at 7 every day.
Yep.
But now it's just, it's getting into that routine, finding time for what's important, but also being that example.
That's right.
Hey, I can get up early and do this and make time for this stuff.
That's right.
Take my guys sometime in the mornings, 5:30 we get up, workout.
Yeah.
Do I want to do it at times? Heck
Hell no.
But I know that I'm reaching at least one of them. I know it.
That's real.
And it's like we talked about the other day. It's like, hey, there's advertisements on at night for a reason.
Yo.
Someone's gonna buy it.
Yeah, break that down, please.
I mean, the way I
so the
explain
infomercials, right?
Yeah, like you think about it, you have all these ads, like the infomercials, like we said, and they run at late at night. You jump on any TV in the States, and they have these random infomercials selling stuff. Hey, does your chair squeak at night? Like when you sit down?
Yeah. You know what? I do got a squeaky chair. Hold on. What you doing? Tell me more.
And they run it for all night, and then they're just like, why are we doing this? Because that one person. It gets through to that one person. Yeah. And that's how I look at like when people are trying to push out a message. Yeah. Like it may not hit everybody in here. We could have a full room right now. Right. And it may not catch everybody's attention. You can have some people on their phones messing around like, what do I got next?
Some dude like me mouth breathing and staring off in
space.
Yeah,
exactly. Like thinking about like, man, what am I going to do this weekend? What am I going to do tonight?
Yeah, I hurt my toe.
But at the same time, you catch one person's attention. Yeah. And it sticks. Yeah. And then it might be that one changing moment where they're like, man, like perfect example. Like I was hounding a couple of these guys where I work to get into school, these younger guys. And one of them, I was like, I'll take you today. I'll take you. And then I couldn't take him because I had to deal with my guys. I ran into him later in the day. And I was like, why you still in uniform, man? He's like, I just got back from the education center. Well, I was like, what'd you do? He's like, I signed up for school like you talked to me about. And I was like, and then the same later that night, one of my other guys sent me a screenshot. And he's like, look, he's like, I'm ready. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he'd been running because he did really bad on the run last year. And he's showing me the improvement he made. And it's moments like that where I'm like, hey, man, look, like that's what makes it worth it when you do these things for these guys, when you make time for these guys. And I think it's us showing them, hey, I'm doing it too. And I think they believe like, dang, if this guy does it and makes time for it, he's making time for me too. Right. Like, and it's that message sticking on at least one of them.
Yeah, because talk is cheap. Talk is good. It's good to be like fuel, but without no flame of action, it's fucking talk. It's nothing. It's fucking nothing. Talk is cheap. Action speak. And I think it's so sound that you touched on the point that, that one, right? And we're talking about leadership here, just basic small unit leadership, leading where you're at, affecting change wherever you're at. You're somewhere right now, no matter what your title or position, those go away, but the effect you have on others lasts forever, right? So this does not have to be towards any particular type of place on the totem pole on the hierarchy of things. You could do this as the lowest of low to the highest of highs. What are you doing to set an example, and what are you doing to make yourself better that can inspire or at least show somebody else the way of how to maybe be better, right? Because we're only here for so long. We don't know how long we're going to be here. If you love life, don't waste time, for time is what life is made up of. But the fact that you emphasize that one, because I'm going to be honest, we all want our egos when you're trying to send a message or you're trying to help people. We want that million-man march.
Absolutely.
Of Dr. King, that's what we want, right? But know this, even in his time and in many other historical leaders' times, they were not popular.
No.
To the point where some of them actually wanted to kill them or start wars over them even getting picked for a certain job. Hashtag Lincoln, right? You know what I mean? Like, they had to hide him on bringing him to D.C. It was crazy if you read about it. But, like, that's how much people didn't like him and resented him. But now he's got statues, and we quote him, and, like, everybody likes a $5 bill. You know what I'm saying? A penny. You know what I'm saying? It's just good. But in that person's day, hell no, it wasn't. But they weren't knowing the effect and how it would echo in eternity and where it would echo, 50, 60, 70, 100 years later and stuff like that. So I say that as I'm probably never going to be a Dr. King or a Lincoln or anything like that, and that's not what we're alluding to, but you can be that in somebody's life. I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and we were talking about there's that age-old fable, story, whatever you want to say, parable about the grandfather and the grandson walking along the beach, and there's all these sand dollars, these starfish all over the fucking beach. And he's walking, and every few steps he looks at one, picks it up, throws back in the ocean. They're doing this for a while, and eventually the little kid's like, "What are you doing, Grandpa?" Like, "Damn, Pop, like, shit. Like, look at how many there are out here. What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "You're not making no difference." He's like, "You're right in the grand scheme of it, but to that one I just threw back and that one I'm about to, I made all the difference in the world." And that's kind of how you have to focus on it. And as leaders, no matter what level you're at, we're planting seeds.
Absolutely.
For things that will blossom and provide shade from trees that will never even sit in our damn selves. And what you say now may just be planting seeds, and somebody else, and then 5 years later, like, "Oh shit, HANDRO has said, oh that's right, Cam has said," or mom has said, or dad has said. We all have those moments, or uncle or whoever it was, auntie. It makes sense and resonates later, but again, in the moment, our egos, of course, we want that million-man march right then. Yeah. But that million-man march took some years to get to, you know what I mean? And it's a process, but I think it's so good, and for everyone out there, somebody is watching you. Somebody is watching you. It doesn't matter what the relation is. It could be people at work, it could be people at home, it could be a relative, don't know, a neighbor or whomever. Somebody, because I've looked up to some stupid ass people in my life. Some stupid ass people in my life. Be like, that person is the man. Yeah. She got it all together, and be like, oh shit. No, they don't, right? But that person, by their example and what they were doing, was either leading or lead me the right way or the wrong way or whatever it was. And I think we do that, and you have to remember that you are having an effect on somebody else. And to that feeling, when you saw the person come back with the run stats and say, "Hey, I got better in this," or you saw the person who was like, "Yep, I'm still in uniform because I went to the education center today, boss, because I did what you said." What's that feeling that you get?
It makes it all worth it, because, I mean, when you think about it, someone comes up and tells you, "Hey, what we talked about, like, I followed through with it and I did it. And I improved myself." You're not getting anything out of that. Mm-hmm. You're not getting a paycheck. You're not getting an award. You're not getting promoted for that. Mm-hmm. It's all, like, I get to take that home and be like, dang, like, you made that small difference, or you pushed that person. Because you know what it was? No one else was pushing them.
Yes.
No one else is right there pushing them. And it's not a selfish thing to be like, hey, that's all my doing. But it's just like, like you said, someone's watching. So
somebody is.
Now, hopefully they pass that on.
Yes.
Hopefully they continue to do that when they see someone struggling with something or wanting to be better, and they think back to, man, like,
yes,
I had this one guy, he, like, just metaphorically, or talking, I had this one guy that was applying pressure to me. I should try the same thing with this guy.
Yes.
And maybe it'll help, because it helped me.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do, is just keep it going.
Yes.
Pass it along. A couple years ago, I'm at the store, and this guy's buying one of those big, like, Pelican boxes, black ones, you know what I mean? For stores.
Yeah.
And I run to this store and I'm like, hey man, you buying that? And he's like, yeah, they're over here. And I'm like, how much you paying for that? And he tells me, and I don't remember how much it was. And I was like, you want one? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, give me your number. And he's like, why? I was like, just give me your number, man. And then I go when you go back home right now, text me and then come see me. And he's like, all right. And then I go, don't buy it. He comes to my place. And I was like, is this what you were going to buy? And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've had this for a few years, man. I don't need it anymore. He's like, and he pulls out money. He's like, how much you want for it? And I was like, I don't want money for it. I just want you to do me one favor. And he's like, what? I was like, pass it along.
Yeah.
I was like, do the same thing.
Yeah, but I want to keep this Pelican box forever.
Yeah. But I was like, pass it along, man. Like, do the same thing for someone else. And he's like, really? And I could just see the surprise on his face.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he was like, you didn't have to do that. And
No,
I was like,
he didn't.
It's like, and I was like, I don't need money for this.
Yeah.
It's just pass it along, man.
Yeah.
Do something good for someone.
But did you get a return? Like, how did you feel? Like when that kid called you, that young person called you and said, look at my runtime now, boss. I'm in the education center. This dude's like, you don't want money? What are you saying? Like, are you about to, like, is this going to be like a hostile situation?
I felt good.
So it's like a Black Mirror episode?
Yeah.
What's about to happen right now?
Like, yeah.
It's a Jordan Peele movie. What is going on right now? You give me some
There's a
free
deeper
shit?
meaning to this. I'm going to wake up somewhere I don't want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it was a good feeling. I like it, and then it makes you want to even drive even harder to make yourself better.
Yes.
Because it's like, dang, like this person, these people around me that are, and somewhat I think look up to me,
Right.
are trying to improve themselves.
Yeah.
So I got to maintain that pace too. Like I can't stay stagnant. And so it is a good feeling. Like I said, because when you think about it, you don't get anything out of it. Like
No.
you're not getting anything for this podcast. You know what I mean? Like
literally nothing, folks. Nothing.
It's a therapeutic session for you.
It's a therapeutic session for me. It's heart work. As a mentor, we both share with Coach Chan. It's heart work. It's heart work. It keeps our teacup full.
But yeah, that's stuff like that. Like it helps me sleep at night.
Yeah, no, it
helps
does.
me sleep at night.
It
Like
does.
I go to sleep knowing like I made a small difference in someone.
Yep.
Whether they stay with it or not,
Right.
that's on them. But the fact that like at least we got them started somewhere.
You did what you could.
We got them started somewhere. Because and I allude to this, like when people say, well, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm like, look, I hated running growing up. I was a terrible runner, and I'm still not the best runner, but I think I'm decent at it now.
But I always see this like Gump out here running. I see you. Or either that or he got this little round thing with what's that thing with that goes into the square and there's a circle and there's a net.
Yeah. I do that a little bit too.
Yeah,
but
basketball or something like that. Yeah.
But I tell people, I'm like, I didn't wake up one day being able to run 6-7 miles.
Hell no.
I was like, you got to start somewhere. And I tell them, I'm like, you start here, man. It's a small. You're just chipping away at it.
Yeah.
Chipping away at it, and that's what I try to push these guys. It's like, look, just start somewhere.
Start somewhere. Do something now.
And I was talking to another guy the other day. I'm like, you got big working out, right? He's like, yeah. I go, did you wake up like that? Did you wake up with a shaker cup under your bed?
I woke up like this.
Yeah. Did you have a shaker cup under your bed one day and you woke up and you're like, dang, I'm big now? He's like, no, I was going to the gym. I go, exactly, man. You started somewhere.
Yeah, you do.
Like, and you can see my favorite part when talking to these guys is you can see when it clicks in their head.
Ooh, click pop.
When you can see when they're like, man, this guy's right. He's making sense. And it's like, yeah, man.
This shit works.
It does.
It works to just do something. And what Handro's talking about is that a lot of things that are good to keep away. But yeah, I'll say this to everybody out there. If you're waiting on the perfect time to do something, it's never gonna fucking happen. Like, you have to start it now. Like, well, I'll start school next semester, or you know what, I'm running. What kind of shoes should I get? You know, because I kind of have a thing down here. Do you wear a special kind of stuff? Shut the fuck up and just fucking do it. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Go start somewhere. There is so much. We're talking about workout and exercise. Like, you can do the run, you can do the gym and get swole, or you could just go for a fucking walk. Like, human beings are made to be moving, and the one thing that's really awesome about being here in Japan is we go on these runs. You see these elderly ass people like walking up this castle.
Yeah.
Like, we do that shit once a week. They're out there every fucking day because I've randomly went out there on like an off day, and they're up there every fucking morning, man. And they're like 70s, 80s, and I think about their peers in the West, and you know, people we call pop and uncle and auntie and all that kind of stuff. The Americans specifically. How many of them at 60, 70, 80 years old are walking up fucking hills, or even walking, period, or not walking with a big-ass bag of medication? And you already know I'm on meds, but I'm saying, like, the body in motion stays in motion. Yeah. And it really, There's something there. So, but you don't need to be a fucking genius or find out what's the perfect shoe. Should I wear Brooks or should I? What are those Hokus? What are those with the soles? What do I? And there's a certain way to tie it. You can figure all that shit out.
Yeah.
But the shaker bottle, I mean, there's the one with the cap, and then there's and it's like whey protein or casein or casein. How do I say it? Like, look, you're fucking looking for perfection. It's cool to get information, but start somewhere and then build upon that. Like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good enough or starting something, whether it's the school or whatever it is. Well, I don't know what I want to major in. Well, I don't really give a fuck what you got to major in, because you do have to do a basic English class.
And
You do have to do a basic math class. You got to do some humanities and some fucking weird ass goddamn electives. You know, so start somewhere, just like the Nike thing. Shout out to Art Williams. I don't even know if this man is still alive, but awesome man. If you want to look him up, you can look him up on YouTube. Art Williams is his name. But in like 86 or 87, he had a speech about do it. Do it. Do it. Kind of funny, like the next year, like, you know, people in like Oregon or somewhere, I don't know, Nike and them had come out with this whole campaign of just do it, right? Because talk is cheap, action speaks. So if those of us, somebody's out there listening is like, yeah, but I don't know where to start, and I don't, just fucking start. You can, I know you got a smartphone or else you wouldn't be listening to this shit, right? You can Google and go on Pinterest and find like basic workouts of all of types of things, and you can start there. So that's one thing, just fucking do it, stop talking. But the other thing HANDRO talking about is random acts of kindness, man. Random acts of kindness and being the change you want to see in this world, and that ductus exemplo, that leadership by example. Not just talking it, but living it and showing people today, not when you were in high school or when I was a lance corporal, when I was a sergeant, when I was a captain. Shut the fuck up. What are you doing today? What are you doing today? Because you are what you do today. Don't be a has-been. Don't rest on your laurels or dwell over your mistakes. What are you doing today? You can't do shit about yesterday. It's about right now. So, but in helping others, man, there's some fuel there. And I could just tell by the enthusiasm and how you were speaking there, there's a fucking return. Like when people say you give, you receive. It's a high. It's a high you get when you help someone else, and you can see when you say, he sat up in his chair. He said, my favorite part is when I see it click. When I see like that right there, man, that's you making a difference in another human being's life, and you don't know where that's going to go forward to. And I said this recently on the podcast too, that I think sometimes the only reason why we go through things, this made me have so much serenity and peace with a lot of things in my life. Sometimes we go through things, folks, we don't, we're like, why me? Why is this happening? Maybe it's just to prepare you to be able to share that lesson with someone else, or to show them, to you to draw the map on how to get the fuck out of this shitty situation, so you can share it and give that map to somebody else. Because human beings don't do shit on their own. No. It takes another human being to do everything we do. Stars, oceans, animals, all that stuff, if we're not doing nothing to fuck up their habitats and stuff, like, they can usually figure it the fuck out. But anything to do with human beings has to have other human beings attached to it. Even like something as the religion and faith, got it. Okay, a higher deity, a higher power. But even that, it works through humans. Humans are the ones who carry it out. Humans are the ones who actually put the pen to the paper on the Bible and things like that, and the Torah and the Quran and all the things like that. So it didn't just fall out of the sky is what I'm saying. It takes human beings. So there's three things right there, man. Just fucking do it. Just do it. Random acts of kindness, and it does build up, and there's something there to fulfill. You know, that's kind of what I took from, because I could see people don't see this on video, but the enthusiasm, the light in your eyes when you're expressing the effect, like that Jim Carrey quote I always say to the point of nauseam, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is.
Because, I mean, think about it. In the position we're in now, where we're at out here in Japan, no one's got their family.
Nope.
It's just us.
Yep.
It's a lot of times, it's just us. And who's looking out for these guys? Who's giving these guys? Because I think that's the biggest enemy to a lot of these younger guys is the lack of knowledge. And it's not on their part. Yeah. It's just they only know what they know.
Oh man, please say that again. And for you listening out there, is like beating yourself up, like, fuck, I need to be like HANDRO. I need to fucking and I need to go to school. And I need to look. Hey, he just said it. It's okay not to know, because
we only know what we know.
We only know what we know, man. We only know what we know. So don't beat yourself up or hate somebody else for something, because that might be all they fucking know.
Yeah, and it's like this one kills me. When people ask me random stuff like, "Do you know about this battle of this time?" or "Do you know about this situation like in this year?" And it's like, no, man. They're like, what? You don't know about that? It's like, you know how much stuff happened in his time, in history of time?
Shit. So
like, you want me to know every little thing?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, but educate me on it, please. I'm all ears. But it's just like, and I think that goes back to like what I was getting at is a lot of these younger guys, they only know what they know.
Yeah.
And it's not ignorance or them. They just, no one's teaching them these things.
Yeah.
No one's showing them these things. And I think that's where we come in. if we have a position of influence,
Yes.
it's like take advantage of it.
Use it. Don't just look at
Yeah.
your paycheck or spend extra money on the rank insignia you wear.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you have your bigger office space. I love this, like this I made it mentality. Well, I done did my time.
Yeah.
I made it. Fuck you. No, you haven't. The reason why you're getting paid more is to do more, motherfucker. Like, some of us make salaries, but I come from an hourly wage mindset.
Yeah.
So where if you get paid more, that means you worked more. And I'm not saying you need to be doing all of the troop work or the lower level work, but sometimes you gotta get your hands dirty and earn your fucking paycheck. Do your job. Like, there's so many people just sitting around clogging up the fucking pipeline waiting on a fucking pension or their tenure or I've made it, I did my time. Did you? Did you really? Did you do your fucking time? Or is your
Yeah.
hindsight very, very nice on yourself, right? And to the point of ignorance, there's a thing, like, I remember my pop used to say when I was little, and my mother would say it too, like, she'd be like, stop acting ignorant. Stop acting ignorant. Like, there's acting ignorant, like having an attitude and just being like, oh, whatever, and like popping your teeth and be like, whatever. That's like acting ignorant. That's like
Yeah.
a social definition. But then there's literally ignorance to where you just don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that just are ignorant. We just don't know.
I think people tie ignorance to such a bad, that word ignorance such a bad rap.
Yeah.
They just think it's so negative all the time. And it's just like, no, like some people just, it's like, do you know about this? No, I don't.
You're ignorant. Now
It's
let's
like-
get you informed.
It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, yeah. And that's where the whole mistakes, you know, we make mistakes, we fall, we get back up, all that kind of stuff. But you don't know until you go through something. And another thing we don't ever know, and I just want to say this to anybody out there, if somebody loses somebody close to you, mourning, grieving, I'm changing the station real quick because this is my high definition, but I want to say this because I always want to make sure people know this. Don't ever tell somebody you know how they feel, right?
I've definitely been guilty of that.
I have too.
It's hard because you don't know what, a lot of times you don't know what to say in
You
situations.
don't know
and
what
so I
other
think
people
you just
are
try
going through.
you just try to relate to them
Yeah.
the best that you can. But no, I definitely understand that. And
Yeah.
I've
Because the
definitely-
first thing they're going to do is go on the defense and go, fuck you don't know how I feel.
yeah.
And technically speaking, we don't, because we are as unique as our fingerprints and our relationships to each other. You might have lost your mother or your father or your friend or whatever it is, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the same time in their life, and it wasn't, you know, things hit differently. So I'm just saying, if you want to be there for somebody and be that help and be the influence, just don't tell somebody, I know what you're going through. You may have an idea or you can relate, like you said, and validate yourself in the experience that you've had, but don't do that, especially when people are in that trauma of grieving or just lost someone. I just want to plant that seed because somebody out there is going to have good intentions and fuck it all up. And anything they're saying is now met with resentment and anger because, like, you don't know how the fuck I feel. Right.
Yeah.
And that's just human nature. So keep that in mind. But still, if you can have effect, if you can be there for somebody, like the chaplain of the whole entire Marine Corps recently released a video about like leadership and being there for each other. And it's the chaplain, so you know he knows all the acronyms, he knows all of the lifeline numbers and all of the acronyms and this is what you do and this and that, and those things are great. They're guidelines, right? But he didn't say this. He said in like a minute-long video, he said, if you got somebody struggling, if you can notice it, number one, notice it. Care about your people that are around you, your guys, your gals, whoever's there in your sphere of influence. But just go on a walk with them, man. Take him out for a cup of coffee and just be like, hey, man, how you doing? And just listen. Listen. I love what Coach Chan said. She said it right over there when we were recording a few weeks ago. She said, listen with the intent to be influenced.
I heard that. I watched that. I listened to that one.
man.
Yeah, that one definitely stuck.
Listen with the intent to be influenced.
That was,
And sometimes that's all it is. Like,
Yeah.
you just got to listen. And what he was saying was, don't give advice. Don't give them some fucking, 5-step plan or anything like that. If they ask, cool, but just listen. So I say those two things to anybody out there because it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and there's a lot of people struggling. And we just said ourselves out here in Japan, we are all we got. We say it often, like it or not, we're all we got.
yeah.
And we can have good intentions, but what is the effect? What is the impact? Are you being effective in what you're doing? Or are you just coming off like a fucking know-it-all, judgmental has-been who back in 2003 when I was... Shut up. Do your job today and take care of people.
I think we're all guilty of unsolicited advice.
Of course. You're talking to one. Look at this podcast. Nobody asked. It was like, hey, Cam, we're going to need you to start a podcast, man, and express yourself. We're guilty of it, and I'm a hypocrite too.
Yeah.
So
No, and I catch myself doing that from time to time, and I'm like, my bad, I'll shut up, and then they're like, oh no, I want to hear it. I'm like, okay.
yeah.
But I think a lot. I mean, no, and I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, like just listen.
Yeah.
Just listen. And I think that's all some people need is just someone to talk to, someone to listen to.
But we also need to be
someone,
pushed.
yeah, that'll listen to them.
We also need to be pushed at times too. So it's an art. it's definitely not a science, right? But I think too often we're like, and I know me, man, in my marriage and in the close relationships I have, it's like, can you just shut the fuck up? Because I'm just trying to just tell you how I'm feeling right now. And be like, oh, so you don't want the five? I got the 5-step plan right here.
Yeah.
You want to know the Diddy? You want to know the 7 key leadership street? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
no, I just want you to listen and shut the fuck up. Oh, okay.
Yeah, sometimes people just want to talk and just want somebody to listen and shake their head like, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, yep, you're right. And then that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's enough for them.
And you don't have to be an expert to do that with somebody.
No.
You know, some people don't feel qualified or accredited.
I will say, though, with that, there are some things that need to be left to professionals, and I found that out the hard way.
That's a good
point. I found that out the hard way because I've asked some questions, trying to talk to somebody, trying to help someone through a rough time.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because people go through some dark stuff.
Yes.
And then when they talk to you about it, that's some stuff that you got to live with that you heard for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And it's not to say I regret talking to people about it or hearing it and listening to it. It's just that not everybody's ready for that kind of stuff.
That's true.
Yeah. And so I will say that sometimes there's some things that need to be left to professionals.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. That's word to the wise. But where it gets fucked up is where we have a stigma and a thought like, well, I'm gonna keep it all to myself. You know, I do believe this will work out eventually, right? Yep. But you have to. There's a certain judgment that goes along with that. You know, please don't hear me the wrong way when I was talking about the experience the other day when I was in a bad mood. I was feeling crushed. I was like, it's gonna pass. I didn't overthink it. I didn't overstress it. It passed. I reflected on it. My life goes on. That is not the same, and that is not what I'm saying as an applicable to other things in life, because there are those other things in life that are much harsher and much harder, and you have to work out and deal with. But what Handro's saying, and please listen to this, there's professionals there for a reason, and if you have access to them, use them. You know, whether it's calling the 988 number or whether it's going to talk to a chaplain or whether it's going to what we have here. I'm sure every base has their own version of it. We have Building 411 on Iwakuni. You can go in there and talk to behavioral health, community counseling, or maybe you just need to go over to the big medical facility that's not a hospital but looks like one, and talk to one of the actual psychologists, the psychiatrists over there. Psychology is just, they study brains and shit like that. Psychiatrists can write you a prescription for meds. Okay, so just know the difference, okay?
Yeah.
Because you might have a guy who read a lot of books and is like, yeah, I can give you my opinion, but you know, I can't give you anything sound or tangible as far as a treatment plan or actual prescription. So psychiatrist, and you talk to them. I don't know, but as the Secretary of Navy just said in a letter that he released, and we say this oftentimes, there's no wrong door. There's no wrong door, but I think that's a very sound and important point for everybody to hear, that, you know, you might be listening to somebody who your best advice to them, maybe unsolicited, is you probably need to go talk to a professional.
Yeah. And not to double down on what I just said, though, but I think an issue I've seen over the years is that people are so afraid to offer help to others, and they'll try to talk to them and they'll be like, oh, okay, I see where this is kind of going. Someone's going through something, and they immediately dump them to something else in the sense of wiping their hands like, well, it's not my problem anymore. Like, hey, I don't got to deal with that anymore.
And throw them a pamphlet.
Yeah, but it's just like, hey, sometimes all they really need is someone, like you said, just to listen.
Yes.
Like, and that might be all they need. They don't need to go to a psychiatrist right away.
Right.
They just need to have someone listen to them and hear them out.
Yeah.
It's a gray area. It's
very hard.
It's a windy road to try to navigate, but I think at sometimes you just need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
I mean, you did it for me one time. You're just like, hey, let's go grab some food. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Helped a lot.
Yeah.
It helped a lot.
Thanks, man. Sometimes that's all it is, man. And we talk about be there and care and all these things, and I'm not trying to shit on like the efforts out there. Like, you know, we have some really good, like the SMITR is strengthen, mitigate, identify, treat, reintegrate. That is a really good guidepost to use because you want to strengthen people's resilience. If you see something wrong, you want to be able to mitigate. How are we going to mitigate? How are we going to be a help to this? How are we going to identify things? How are we going to get them to treatment? What does treatment mean? And then reintegrate is something that's very important that gets looked over. So I'm not trying to shit on the acronyms because they're there. They're good guideposts. And in those, you know, sticky situations, sometimes the best thing you need is like muscle memory. You know, the weapon jams, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm glad I said tap, rap, bang a million times. Tap, rap, bang. Oh, yeah, tap, rap, bang. And that sometimes that's all it is. So I'm not trying to shit on those things. But with all of those on the table, one thing that is going to be just as effective, if not more effective, I would argue, than all of that is just genuinely caring about people around you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where we're at right now. We get so hyper-focused on our own shit, on our own lives, on our own highlight reel that we post online or on social media, that we could sometimes fail to realize that everyone around you, Robin Williams, here y'all go. Here, I'm giving it to y'all again. Robin Williams said it. Everyone around you, everyone is fighting a battle you know nothing about. So be kind. Like, just be kind and try to care as best you can. Actually, for lack of a better term, give a fuck about people.
Yeah.
And I think we have a gap deficit right now in our society. And we wait for a traumatic thing to happen. You know, we don't need a 9/11 to come together and be unified. We don't need a shooting to come together to come through and, you know, be a community and be whatever hashtag town strong, city strong. Like, we could do that now without, you know, and we don't need to mourn people and appreciate them when they're dead. We could do it right now.
One thing I do out here, because I remember the first time I was living overseas, I didn't have a car.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing people, it'd be raining, see people drive by, empty car. And I'm like, dang,
that's
man.
fucked up.
Or I'm like, dang. Or like, my favorite was when I'd see someone going to the same building I'm going, that I know that I work in the same building at.
Oh.
And they take off. But now, like, I do my best whenever I see guys that I work with directly.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, get in, I got you. And they're like,
Yeah.
where are you going? And I'm like, it don't matter, I got you.
Yeah.
Or I'll pick up random people, and they're like, you sure?
Yeah,
I'm like, and I
for
tell
sure.
them, I'm like, I remember when I was coming up, I didn't have a car, and I used to get so mad when I'd see people drive by with an
Yeah,
empty
and you
car.
walking with like 5 bags from the commissary.
Yeah, and I'm
or
like,
from the exchange.
I
and
picked
like
up plenty of people from the commissary.
Yeah, you see like the people that come in
Yeah.
that are here for a little while. You'll see them walking towards the
Yeah.
little wild barracks where they stay at, and it's like, I know where they're going.
And
like,
Now I'm gonna sit here and say I pick up everybody,
right.
but I mean, if I
Oh,
can,
don't
if
call Cab. Handro will be around a little bit.
Exactly.
He just loves people.
Yeah, but no, like I'll catch people. Yeah, like, and I've caught people even like at the store here on base, and I'll be like, "Hey, where you going?" They're like, "Well, I'm going out in town." I'm like, "I got you." They're like, "You sure?" They try
Yeah.
to give me gas, and I'm like, "Don't worry about it, man." Like,
Yeah.
And it's because I know how it was when I didn't have one, and
Right.
and that's just what I try. The small thing I try to do.
No, that principle is so, man, this is, I mean, that's what you just said is the principle behind probably 90% of what I do. I know how it feels to feel like that, whatever that may be. And if you're listening to this right now, I'm using air quotes, I'm doing quotations. You've went through a that or this right now, that somewhere along the line, you don't want, if nothing else, you don't want somebody else to go through that. You don't want somebody else to feel like that. And yes, no pain, no gain. We have to weather certain storms in life to be able to grow and be uncomfortable. But man, sometimes you go through things just to be able to help somebody else. Maybe some of those walks when you were just with with your bags and everything, you're like, I know that motherfucker, I know. Maybe that was just so now that's the motivation to be able to help somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And that can apply to so many things. And my point there is, don't be a victim, be a victor, and don't go internal, go external. And you might be able to help somebody else out, and hopefully they'll be able to help somebody else out. And maybe that's the only fucking reason you're here. You know, like Seneca said, old philosopher, he worked for Nero, so he was crazy, right? Maybe Nero would have been more crazy if Seneca didn't help him out. Who knows, right? But he was a playwright too, and he said, we're all actors in a play. In the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, gives us certain roles in the play. And you have to play your part. Play your part. It could be a long part. It could be a short part. But play your part. Your part may be just helping those people around you right now or giving that ride to somebody. Now, folks, don't hear us wrong. If you're in the U.S., you better be fucking careful with this.
And that's what I was going to say right now. So that's what I was going to talk about right now.
Because somebody's like, you know what? I know how to do everything they're saying right now. Real Resilience Talk podcast said,
I'm
go
gonna
pick up
the
strangers.
first person I see.
Hey, come here, buddy. And they're like, oh, shit.
So that's what I was going to talk about right now. Is so when I was younger, I was like 19, 20. Before I got to where I'm at now, I used to see people, and it'd be at night too. I'm like, hey, you need a ride? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I would just take them as far as I could go, like in the direction I was heading. And then I tell my family about it, and they're like, their eyes get big. They're like, what's wrong with you, man? And I'm like, what? And they're like, what if somebody tries to rob you or steal you or like kill you or something like that, or like take your car? Like, we'll never know. We'll never know who it was. Or we're like, what happened? And they're like, what are you going to do when that happens? I was like, well, and it's so, I don't know if it's dark or
I can see the ellipses right now, the 3 dots.
Like, I don't know if it's like dark or how I take it, but it's definitely helped me change my mindset over the years of how I see life and how I move forward with things. Is if it's my time to go, it's my time to go.
Period.
And I feel like I've looked death in the face with another story I have, is that when you look it in the face and you're like, well, and I accepted it, but not in like a sad, depressed way. Like,
Right,
well,
right.
like, oh, this is how I go. Where I was like, dang, this is how it ends. All right. And that's how I look at, like, when I used to pick up hitchhikers. I was like, if they really want to kill me and that's how I go out, all right, like, what? I have no control over that. Yeah, I have control in that I didn't need to pick them up, but
Yeah.
like, if this is how I go out, this is how I go out.
Yeah.
But like, I remember one time driving. We live in the country. My parents, where we're from, and it's a busy road. We get a lot of semi trucks driving through, and I'm driving into town one day, and there's a semi on the other side, but then another one pops up because he wants to pass that one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember looking, and like, time stopped, and I was looking at these two semis coming dead head on for me, and I'm in a little car, my older brother's car. I'm in his car, it's a little Kia, and time stopped, and options came to my head, and I was like, you can either hit the brakes and like try to swerve. You can swerve out of the way and try to go one way, or you try to swerve out of the way and that truck's going to go the same way because they're reacting too,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know what to do. And so I remember, like I said, it was like I took a timeout, called a 30-second timeout, asked the coach what to do, what play to draw up, and I just gradually pressed on the brakes, and I was just like, if this is how it goes, this is how it goes.
Yeah.
And that's helped me so much because I'm like, I don't know, it's just helped my mindset change.
Yeah.
And just look at things and look at life in a different way,
Yeah.
where I'm just like, it goes back to like, no, not having regrets, doing things, continuously doing things, staying active, staying productive, be happy with what you got going on, be happy with what you've done.
Gratitude. Yeah, gratitude.
And that's kind of how I look at things. It's like, well, if this is how it ends, this is how it ends.
No, and some people hear that and go, oh my God, for real, dude? Like, all because you had a routine, you go exercise? Like, you're just cool with everything right now? No, that's not what he's saying, folks. Like, there's ancient Latin phrase, memento mori, and it's just Latin for remember you will die. Like, that is true for all of us. It's coming for all of us. So when we talk about these things, it's not to sound, dark or morbid or anything like that, but to be naive and to be, voluntarily ignorant and deny the fact in some way, just don't acknowledge it, that we are going to die. I think there's a flip side to it, that maybe you don't get to live life as much because you don't value, I'll see this person again.
Yeah.
Or you know what, next week, when we get the taxes, I'm gonna do that at school. Do it now, because you might not get it. And we can go down the list of so many examples of people who we've lost or people we know of who have lost in this world, that name the age range, doesn't matter, had no control over anything, not even over their own bodies or their own situation. And if it's your time, it's your time. It is what it is. Obviously, you're not voluntarily driving into semi trucks, right?
No.
There's not voluntarily doing those things. But I think to be mindful of the fact that this is impermanent, that we're impermanent, or at least our existence to what we know of what's going on right now is not going to be around anymore for us. After that, hey, that's open for argument. People have started wars over such things. I'm not trying to do that. But in the moment is over. And I think we fail to be as grateful as we could be or should be for what we get to have. We get to have right fucking now. And I think that all ties together right there with being okay. And those brick by brick actions, those day by day actions, if you've tried your best, you've done as best you could with what you had, you played your cards, whatever. A friend of mine gave me a book recently, the line that was like, tackle life like a motherfucker. You've done that, you've tackled life, you fucking went out and you've gotten after it. Hey, okay, this is it, right? And nobody wants to die. It's not in a human desire to want to die. But to be living in fear of death every single day, can you ask yourself if you're really even living?
Exactly.
But flip it on the flip side and say, well, I only have so much time left, so I'm going to make the most of it right now while I can, because I just don't know what's coming next, That's what he's saying there. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to express to people, to live now, do the best you now. Not the best Handro, not the best Cam, because that's not really that hard, right? But the best you, whoever you may be out there. Are you doing your personal best? Everybody's going to stack and rack, and wherever they are in life, it is what it is. Somebody's always going to be better than you. I love that song by J. Cole, Love Yours.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's always going to be better. It's always going to, there's going to be a nicer car, there's going to be, nicer significant other, there's going to be more money. You can't never have enough, right? But are you doing your best? And that's a big reason why we're talking about this and resilience and how they add up. And something as simple as waking up early. The hardest part about waking up early is going to bed early.
Mm-hmm.
And that routine you're talking about. And I want to get back to as well, not right this second, but I want to go back to what your outlook on discomfort is, and how much that plays into the maybe bringing comfort or your life getting better. But I love the fact that you brought up death, because, hey, we're only here for a little bit. What we leave behind is not on statues. I think Pericles said this shit. It's woven into the lives of others. So what effect are you having? But also, what are you doing? What are you doing with your time that you've been given to be here? Are you just, I hate it when people be like, hey, how's it going? Just another day. It's like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know how many fucking babies
I'm
died
here
today? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm fucking here, man.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's the sarcastic, living the dream. But when you really think about it, we are. You dreamt this at one time. What you have right now is what you only hoped for this at one point in your life, and now you got it, and you're like, well, I have to go to work today. Man, we get to be here today. I know that sounds corny or whatever like that, but just try applying that outlook to things and see how much it can actually brighten up your shit. But discomfort is required and necessary as well. What do you say about
I
that?
didn't want to get up today.
I ain't want to get up today. Oh, hell no.
But I told
It
you.
raining too?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But I told you I would be here, and I was like, you know what? I got to go.
Yeah.
Not because I told him I would go, but just because I want to be there with him. I want to spend that time with him
Yep.
and have that sit down. I feel like we've been talking about this for a couple of years now.
Yeah, oh, dude, at least the whole time we know each other, about 3
Yeah.
years.
I think
Been talking about having, and we've had many ones like this where we were in a space in a certain facility where we couldn't record anything. We didn't have the idea or the spunkiness to go for it, but man, and that was the reason to start this, was because there's so many of these kind of cool, just deep conversations about these things. It's like, damn. You know, or we hold the resiliency huddle that nobody ever fucking shows up to, by the way. Nobody ever fucking shows up to, right? And it's like, we're in an on-demand land.
Yeah.
You know, some of these things we've said or we've talked about, like, I know I could have listened to it and heard it in another way. So that's why we made this, was to have these conversations, so it's there forever. And no matter what happens tomorrow, this lives on forever, man.
I told somebody, I think it was last summer, I was like, that money you make at your day job,
Yeah.
your whatever it is, salary, commission, whatever it may be, is replaceable. But that time you spend with those close to you, you can't replace that.
No.
Yeah.
No, you can't. And if you don't think, you're like, well, you know the feeling when you lose somebody.
Yeah.
You think about all the time you could have spent with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think about all the time I've tried, you know, that we talked about the sand dollar thing or the starfish, whatever the fuck it is, throwing that shit back, right? I've went through phases in my life where I've tried to like just run and throw everything back in there, right? And then I'm not taking care of me, to what Coach Chan was saying, and then I'm not taking care of those close to me. And then when I lose somebody, like I lost my brother a few years ago, I lost a cousin recently last year, got murdered, and I thought about all the times I could have spent with them that I was out trying to wasting time on obviously not good things, but also trying to maybe help people that don't want to fucking be helped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're just hard-headed, and you're like, oh, I'll try to. You're not gonna save that person. Like,
And that's a hard
them.
thing to identify is at what point do you, it sounds terrible, but give up on somebody. Like,
Yeah.
at one point it's like, hey, drink the water. We're in a desert, drink this water. And they're like, no.
It's like, should I waterboard them? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But it's tough, right? It's so tough. But I know, and what you're saying about having the people around you and the time you have with them, lose somebody, and you know how much value that time was. You're like, fuck, I should have called them.
I gotta ask you a question.
Yeah.
I think what we talked about the other day. I asked my friend this last night.
Yeah.
I said, if you could hug anybody one more time, who would it be?
Oh man, that's deep. Wow. If I could hug anyone, this is wow. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd hug a lot of people, man. I'd hug a lot of people. I don't want us to get it down to just one. But there's even some people that are still alive that I would hug. It's just our relationships don't match up, and the bond isn't there the way it could be, or what I perceive to be it should be. So, man, I can't answer that solidly.
Yeah.
But I'd like to hug my cousin that got murdered last year right now. I'd like to hug my another cousin who was a relative by marriage. He just, great dude, just dropped out of a heart attack at work. Young guy, not unhealthy or anything like that. Left behind four beautiful children. Just a great dude, relative. But I didn't spend enough time with him before he was gone. I didn't. I don't know what time, space, whatever it was, man. And my brother, I would like to have hugged him. You know, I'd like to. And there's many of others, too.
Yeah.
I don't want to digress and be like, damn, dude, this dude's doing his whole catalog of those he's mourning and grieving
Hold on,
for.
let me pull this list out.
Actually, it's funny to say because I have this. I'm a hugger, and here's the list of people I would love to hug. But that thinking on that, wow, just even going through that cycle of operations in my brain.
But it's crazy how people immediately come to the front of your head.
Oh,
you know
for
what I mean?
sure.
Like, immediately they pop up.
Yeah.
It's just like,
No, it's maybe a healthy, you know, I think that memento mori, they talk about that in the Stoics, and in Stoicism, they say even like you kiss your children at night, it could be the last time, you know, you hug that person, and we've heard those stories, you know, 9/11, tragic, you know, had an argument before, and obviously, you know, life is life, and arguments happen, and all that kind of stuff, but that was your last engagement, you know, like it or not. Or that last phone call, and I don't want to rub that in anybody's face, but what we can do with it now is you want to avoid that and think about those interactions. It could just be the very fucking last time. And we stood in this room right here when I first got here, and a great man who just passed away did over 26, 27 years of active service in our beloved armed forces, and finally got to the point to where he could leave active duty, and then got diagnosed with cancer. And just one of the greatest humans, very good dude, hardworking dude. Our nation, our world is safer because he lived, and he's awesome family, just great dude. But he sacrificed all these years, and then not even a fucking year after leaving the active ranks, he gets diagnosed, and he's passed away a little while ago. But man, you just never fucking know how much time you got.
He was awesome,
awesome. Just talk about somebody having an effect on people, and just. One thing I heard about him specifically was when you were in his presence, he made it feel like there was nobody else there, and he talked to you, and he would, man, and just positive, and even when he got diagnosed, I shared this with some people, and I have it written down on my book right here. I'm actually going to tat it soon because I want to remember this. But he said, so I hit him up and I said, hey, and I'm way lower on the totem pole than this man. He's up there, right? He's a great accomplished person, but I heard the news that he had been diagnosed, and I just hit him up and I said, I don't know what I could do, but this isn't a check in the box, but if I can do anything, hey, let me know. And this guy, he replied back in a text and said, hey Cam, what's up, man? And I could hear his voice, and I love his voice and his enthusiasm.
He's always so like just animated when he talks.
Good
to you.
Shoulder smack, you know, like just old school, right? And he said, hey, if you're, you know, in this location where we live, we got to link up, because he knows I'm from near that area. And I was like, I'm looking at the thing, and I'm like,
did you send it to the right person?
Does he fucking know? Do I know and he doesn't know? Because that's fucked up. Like, it was that, like, offsetting to me. And he goes, yeah, but all things considered, comma, we're doing great. How are y'all? And I'm like, hold up, man. Like, I know he knows I know, and I thought I knew. Does he know he? But he said, and I got it right here, those 3 words, ATC, all things considered. And I really try to think about that before I have a pity party. You know, the other day I talked about that little down mode, and there's many more opportunities or things in life to where you get down or whatever. But I'll never forget that. A man who was literally staring death in the face. Talk about not fair. Talk about that ain't right. Holy fucking shit. There's no words to describe how unfair that shit is. Yeah. You know, that's like a baby getting hit by a stray bullet almost, is how unfair that shit is, right? What the fuck is fair anyway, right? What the fuck is normal anyway? But the fact that his attitude to meet that with was, we're going to, and I know later on his treatment, he said, this isn't working out. We're going to attack in a different direction. We're going to attack in a different direction. We're going to be water. We're going to, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change your attitude. We're going to change this up and see what works next. But I'll never forget, man, he said, all things considered. And I said, wow. Yeah. And when and I know his children, he has a lovely bride, and he has a good family, and he's a great man. But in that moment of, could have had a pity party, could have started a GoFundMe, he could have started a march, a walk, started selling armbands. And if people are into that, hey, by all means, do what you do. I'm not dissing you. But he didn't do any of that. He didn't post like hey guys, my life's fucked now, post, nothing. He just said, all things considered, we're doing great. And when we consider all things, man, and that relationship with death or those you love or miss or whatever it is like that, consider all things before you really sit there and go, I'm having a bad fucking day.
Yeah.
Or this is really, my life fucking sucks. Really, really. Write the shit down. All things considered. All things considered. Because what perceptions and eye of the beholder and beauty and all that shit like that, like, what about compared to what? And I'm not trying to play the comparison game because that could be the thief of joy. But really, though, like, you think about a man like that, you sacrifice all these years. I'm talking about being away from his family for years, missing children's births, so on and so on and so on. Finally gets some time. And you get diagnosed with a terminal illness. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
It reminds me of Miyamoto Musashi, writer of the Book of Five Rings, famous ancient swordsman in Japan. And this is where I met this gentleman I've been describing, is in Japan. But Musashi, I'm probably fucking up his name, so forgive me. But Google it, it'll come up and be like, did you mean? You know what I'm saying? But he said to hold it all together when the world and everyone around you would understand if you fell apart. That's true strength. And that will forever be the man Woofy to me. Because that's what he was. He held it all together when everyone would have totally understood if he fell all apart. And he was like, nah, all things considered, we're doing great. Treatment's not going the way it needs to, but hey, we're going to attack in another direction.
Who was he there with? He got to be there with his family.
Yes. And I think about him, and I think about, like, somebody's awesome as Chadwick Boseman or Norm Macdonald, right? I love Norm Macdonald, a great comedian, and had some hard times in his life, overcame a lot of trauma, but was never a victim. He was a victor. And you look at, like, so if that comes to us as, the death, or you get to know, man, Chadwick Boseman didn't, like, tell anybody. I think he made the most of the time he had with the people he had closest to him, where he could make the most impact. He did what he could in his professional life, obviously. And then you look and you go, oh, damn, but he didn't do no pity party. He just went out, man, like a warrior. So did Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald didn't tell anybody.
Nobody.
He didn't let anybody.
Nobody. Because it was what it was. Like, the pity party, and I'm not saying we don't need to cope or we don't need to understand and talk to people, so I'm not trying to diss on anybody. We all deal with things. But there's something admirable about just saying, okay, it is what it is. I'm going to do the best I can with what I got, make the most of my time, and I'm going to weather this and try to be a light in this world. And they did that, man. Like, all three of those men I just described, one obviously knew personally and intimately and actually had a deep effect on the freedom that we all have. So he's just as much a bigger hero than the other ones I named off, the ones who play ones on movies and stuff. But all good people, all decent human beings that were met with some unfair circumstances. And that circumstance might be waiting on us, or it might be waiting on somebody you love. So it's like gratitude now. I think about, and I've said this on a few episodes, what Kanye said about, if you admire somebody, you should go ahead and tell them, because people never get the roses while they can still smell them. So I'd hug all those people, man. Holy shit, that was a long road to a little house.
No, I like it.
I asked one question, you fucking go talking for an hour.
I think it's when you think about those guys that do that, what they do is like you said, that they didn't look for a pity party.
Nope.
They didn't look for attention. Like, hey, love me right now in my darkest moment.
Yeah.
They did what a lot of us need to do in the positions we're in, is they stayed strong
Yes.
as a leader, because a lot of people look to us, or not me specifically, but look to people.
Yeah.
And they look at certain individuals, and it's just like, if they see them, and I think what goes through their head is like, I can't let them see me like this.
Right.
I gotta stay strong, maintain resilience.
I mean, we're a full circle, folks. Resilience.
And let them see that even in my darkest moment, I'm still here for y'all.
Yes.
Because I guarantee you, if you would have reached out and said, "Hey, can you write me a letter of recommendation?"
Yeah.
Probably would have did it.
Yeah. At that moment,
probably not the appropriate time to ask for one.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's definitely not it.
Yeah.
But if you did, I bet you would have still done it.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, they still want to stay strong, show that they're still strong, and they're there for people.
Yeah.
And they're there for those that are close to them. And I think it's a good question my friend had one time. We were talking, and he's like, we're always here for people. We always tell him, whatever you need, let me know. I got you.
Right.
He's like, but who do we go to when we need stuff?
Oh, that's so real.
Yeah. He's like, who do we talk to? And I was like, I think that's where we talk to our closest friends, the ones that we're closest with, our family.
Or it could be that professional.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that professional. It could be that person of the cloth, that chaplain or that counselor, or, like we said earlier, there's nothing wrong with going to get professional help. There is nothing wrong with going to seek help. We all do it our own ways. But I will say the friend thing and the social fabric around you, Carlos Del Toro, the Honorable Mr. Carlos Del Toro, talked about that like the pandemic had kind of, it broke our social connectedness a little bit. So right now, especially with suicide rates going up, with overdoses going up, a lot of things that are not good are going up. And it's not just because there's more people in the world. It's because there's more bad shit actually occurring at the same time. We need to bring back that social connectedness, and we need to, that's why we're doing this, connect to those around you, because the culture you're in, the where you're at, the peer-to-peer support, all the other things are great. They have their place, not at all undermining them, and it could be all of them combined. But man, that sense of belonging, that sense of community, that sense of you got my back, that will always be just as effective, if not more effective, than all the other things listed that are at our disposal for resources. But again, judgment, gray areas, there are certain things that need to just go to that, right? And maybe that's, the Chadwick Bosemans and the Wolfies of the world and these great people we're talking about. Maybe that's what they were doing. For everyone else, they were trying to make the most of the time they had. They didn't want to have a pity party. But with those professionals, they were seeking that counsel, that God, maybe, or to their God or to their gods. I don't know, but I do know the example they set was fucking resilience to the fucking fullest. Like, and that's the thing. Like, these hard times are coming for us. And Epictetus, slave, then became a very influential person. He said, "What ought one to say as each hardship comes?" This is what we ought to say. What ought one to say as each hardship comes? I was practicing for this. I was training for this. And that right there is to the point where you're talking about discomfort.
Yeah.
And you can't get strong, as David Goggins say, in a 70-degree room. Like, it just can't happen. Like, you need to weather some storms and to build that resilience. Because when it does come, because it's coming for all of us, whether it's death or just hard times, not if or when, it's just a matter of if and when. Because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Fuck, I'm stupid right now. All right, but it's coming. It's coming for you, motherfucker. What I want to say is each hardship comes. I was practicing for this. I was training for this. So what are some ways that you or thoughts on that?
So one time I went to a course a few years back, and it was one of those joint ones where just learning how to be at that rank and everything like that. And somebody asked me, we were having an open discussion. They're like, how do you handle new situations, new things that you've never encountered or dealt with? Like, how would you handle this?
Yeah.
And I was like, I think about everything I've experienced up until now, and I apply the best things that I know from my past to handle that situation.
Yeah. And
I think it's kind of what you're saying is, like, everything we've experienced up until that point will help us go through what we face in that moment.
Yeah. And maybe it's all just training.
Yep.
Like, what was I was practicing for this, I was training for this. So sometimes, and this sounds corny. Some people go, oh my God, this is like just a mediocre mentality. I think it's not. And I'll tell you this, like, the next time you're frustrated with something, the next time you're dealing with a difficult person, by the way, why are we surprised? Did we not know there's assholes in the world? But we're always so shocked when we get to have an experience with them. We're like, oh my God, how could he? It's like, I'm kind of a human, kind of an asshole by nature. It's just who we are, right? And that's not to be negative, it's just to be honest. But train yourself now, those hard winters. Hold yourself accountable now. I think about it and I talk about him a lot, but in principle, I get what he's saying. David Goggins says, I don't run because I like to run. I run because I'm training my brain. I'm training my mind, just like I callous my hands with the weights and things like that. I'm callousing my mind with hard shit. So that way when I get that phone call I don't want, I'm ready for it. Yeah. And I can endure it. And resilience doesn't mean things don't hurt or things don't affect you. That's not what we're saying. But it's to the depth of the how much it can have an impact on you as far as in the negative. Like, does it totally debilitate you or not? If you don't have a lot of resilience, then, if I take my toddler right now on a 8-mile hike or 8-mile run, it's going to probably fucking kill her little ass. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it is. If I put her on a pull-up bar and make her hold there the whole time, it's probably going to put some rug burns on her hand and, some friction, whatever you want to say, blisters, right?
Stay here, I'll be back.
Yeah, hold this. Because she's not there yet in that physical sense. And there's a lot of us that are like babies in that sense when it comes to life and dealing with things, or we avoid those things. We avoid touching the pull-up bar or that 8-mile run or whatever it may be. But there's levels to this shit. And I do believe, I think there's some value in what Goggins and such like-minded people are talking about callousing your mind is the same way. And I heard somebody say yesterday, physical, a lot of these physical things, running the hills. It was Rogan, running the hills or doing the workout or making yourself do some shit that's good for you. It's good for you when you don't want to do it. That is making you stronger, not just physically, but mentally. And he said, anybody that thinks physical things are just physical and they're not mental, well, they haven't really been tested physically, because that shit turns totally mental, right? I know those people do ultra marathons. Shout out to my man Mark Allen. He does those things. Like, he was explaining to me that you reach another point in your brain of, like, you go through every emotion, you go through everything, and you go through this cycle that, like, usually you would have to go through some real fucking trauma. But you've kind of, not as a masochist, but you've inflicted upon yourself, challenged yourself to where you're training yourself for those harder times. What do you say about that? Like, as far as getting ready for those times?
Absolutely. I'm very, like, building up to my ability to run now. Like, I started off slow.
Yeah.
But I had to get up to it, build up to it. And it's just like now, like, I noticed, I'm like, oh man, I'm not as tired when I run 3 miles anymore.
Yeah.
So, so I'm like, oh man. The next thing I know, oh man, I'm not as tired when I run 4 miles.
Right.
It's just progression.
Yeah.
And I think that's with life. It's like, I remember when I started school, I was like, I started one class and I was like, man, this is really hard. And then at the end of it, I was like, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I added another class the next time around.
Yeah.
So I was taking 2 classes and it's just.
And those are condensed courses?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that. Oh.
But I mean, it sucked, but I mean, I felt I was ready for it, and I built myself.
But you didn't come out the gate with that.
No, exactly.
So hear us on that too. Anybody that may have been inspired by some of these words, nobody's saying like, tomorrow, get your shoes, 11 miles.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have to time. You didn't tell me how to time. I just want time. No.
I'll wear them on my hands.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that.
Yeah.
But you guys said I need to be tough and I need to. Momato Musashi, did you mean? You said just hold it all together. No. There's levels. There's levels to this shit. And there's beauty in the struggle. And there's beauty in the suffering, and what God says, to grow we must suffer.
Yeah.
But humans don't want to do that.
And that's what I was gonna mention too, is that I feel like the issue, not issue, but the thing, I'm trying to think of how to put it, the issues I'll just say the issues I'm facing now. With working with a lot of younger guys is they don't want to be pressured to be uncomfortable.
They don't want to be uncomfortable. What do you mean?
They don't want that, and you try to push them a little bit, apply a little pressure to them, and they don't like it. Yeah. And then now you're just like, and they think that you're messing with them, that you're it's a personal thing.
Yeah, no.
And it's like, hey, like you got to step out of your. I think we talked about earlier. You got to step out of your comfort zone. You got to step out of your box.
Yes.
And so,
it is. We have to get a little uncomfortable from time to time. And now I go to describing these physical things because they're easy. Like, run that way. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I'm not the smartest person, but you could be challenge yourselves in other ways too. But these things will help as well. Like, just try it for a little bit. Like, stop looking. That's another thing we do bad, and I've said this many times on the show, is we seek perfection. Well, it's like, HANDRO, I tried the 3 mile run thing for like 3 weeks, and I didn't see it. I didn't really see the. Well, stay with it. Do it for 3 more weeks, right? Don't look at things as if it's going to make everything perfect, but filter it through. Is this going to make anything worse? No? Okay, fuck it. I'll try it. Right? Yoga. Exactly. It's not going to fix every single issue you got. It may not connect you with something, but some people use it for a spiritual exercise as well as a physical one, and it could be a mentally one too. Because when you're holding a downward dog for a while, or you're holding that plank, you're like, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, those you could be hitting all wickets. I don't know what your flavor is for that kind of thing, but don't rule it out as something. I don't do that shit. I ain't doing that shit. That shit weird, man. I ain't doing that shit. That shit soft.
Just finding what works best for you.
Yeah.
It's like one thing I cannot stand lifting weights. I applaud all those that do, and that like it and enjoy it. By all power to you, but it is the most boring thing in the world.
Just not a fan of it.
Not my thing. But I find what works for me and what helps me. And it's like you said, it's like if you get out and do any type of physical activity, any type of mental activity, it helps. It's not doing anything bad for you.
No,
it's not doing anything bad for you. No. For example, a couple years ago, when I was living in Korea, we had a rec center there. And they had a drum set. I never played the drums in my life. Right. I went in there, started going in on the weekends for 30 minutes every Saturday because I had a routine. I would do Saturday. I wake up, I'd go play ball, and then after that, I'd come back, change over, do my thing, and then go to the rec center for 30 minutes, play the drums, go to the store, get my haircut, buy my groceries or whatever I needed from the store, and then go back home. Yeah. But when I was at the rec center, I played the drums. I remember I would call my brother afterwards because I was teaching myself how to play. And he's like, how is it? Like, what do you know about the drums? I was like, nothing. I'm just teaching myself. I go, it is. I go, it's so crazy because when I'm done, I feel mentally exhausted, but in a good way, man.
Yeah.
I was like, because it's such a workout,
And it's
like,
out of your comfort zone because you said you never done it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would get frustrated, but it was fun because it's just something that I'm not used to.
Right.
And it was such a mental workout because
Yeah.
you're trying to, I don't know if anybody knows much about, for those that aren't familiar with like playing an instrument and everything, but the term, do you know how to count, goes into effect real big with playing an instrument. And that stuff is real. And like because you're trying to tell your extremities to do one thing, one extremity to do one thing while the other one's doing another. And it's just like, and it was exhausting, but I felt so good afterwards.
Yeah.
And that's what was like we were talking about, is that it's not doing anything bad for me.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
And it's the same with some of these younger people with school. I do not believe you have to. I came into the military with 8th grade education and I had a GED.
No.
I don't think that you have to have a ton of education to be smart or to be intelligent.
You don't.
Or to be successful, right? I don't. But I don't think anyone ever is going to go, oh my God, you have 3 electives on your education record?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's going to diss you. Like, it's not going to be a disqualifier. It's not going to make you worse if you take a few courses here or there, whenever it may be. You know what I mean? Now I have a bachelor's degree or whatever like that. That's great. And I have a few master's courses done. But even if I didn't, and I liked it because it exposed me to certain things, and it allowed me to meet other people and to find myself in different ways through going through that process, right? I didn't know that I was interested in other things because, to our point earlier, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
But to anybody out there who's like, I don't need a whole college degree. You're right. You may not. Maybe just being in those like discussion forums for that one class on, I don't know, American history or something silly. I don't know, world fucking civilizations or something, sociology, whatever it is, may open your mind to something to tap you into something else to where that could be the groundbreaking thing for you. But you're not trying to be freaking, what was his name? Tommy, oh man, I forgot his name. Anyway, a famous drummer for fucking one of them fucking groups. I can't even think right now.
Tommy Lee?
Yeah, Tommy Lee. There it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, you're not trying to be Tommy Lee out here. You're not trying to be the best ever. You're just messing with it, but you get a sense of accomplishment because it was challenging. You put your time and effort into something a little bit positive, and it just challenged you. And there's a lot of things out there for a lot of us, but if you don't like where you're at, okay, let me tell you this. If you don't like where you're at, or you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done, and you can't keep this definition of insanity up and expect different results. Like, you just can't.
Yeah.
Like, we can't. You have to switch it up, and it could be something as small as just 30 minutes on the drums, or picking up a new exercise routine, or finding a new crowd to hang out with or associate with, or maybe instead of watching the whole fucking season of that show on Saturday, maybe just watch 2 shows, then go for a run, then maybe go for a walk, maybe journal. Don't rule things out at face value and say, well, I'm never going to use that shit. I'm never going to go to I don't need the whole college degree. Maybe just a little bit of college.
But
I don't want to be no musician. Maybe just a little bit of music.
Yeah. But like you said, which I really love that you mentioned it real quick, was that exposing yourself to other ideas and other people.
Yes.
Because everybody's so different.
So different.
That's one thing I love about it, is when you get to read other people's thoughts and ideas.
Yeah.
And whether you agree or not,
right,
is the best.
And I could disagree with you and not want to kill you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We could do that, folks.
Yeah.
We're in some fucking weird times right now.
It's like when someone tells you, well, I think this way, or I like this, and it's like, well, why? And it's not me challenging you because I don't necessarily agree with you, but it's just like, explain to me why you feel that way.
Yeah.
I want to know why are you so passionate about that?
Right.
Why is this person your favorite player? Why is this your favorite movie?
Yeah.
Why is this your favorite song?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, and I get excited about that stuff because I want to hear people's honest opinion about those types of things.
Yeah.
Like, why do you like to do this?
But you're getting to know your people too, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's part of that, like, identify. If you don't know your people, how are you going to fucking identify something is wrong with somebody if you don't know them? You know what I mean? Like, some people just, that's their manners, that's their nature. They're just more reserved, more whatever. But if you have somebody who's an enthusiastic, kind of bubbly person or whatever, and then they're quiet the next day, and you don't cue in on something might be off, well, like it or not, we got, are you your brother or sister's keeper in that situation?
Yeah.
But when you ask those kind of questions, you get to know them. You don't even know somebody's full life story or be intrusive. Nobody's saying that. Like, hey, page 3 of your medical record, tell me more. Nobody's.
I took a peek at that real quick, and
you know what? It made me want to know you more.
Yeah, I want to know what exactly did you guys talk about that day?
Yeah, nobody's alluding to that.
No.
So have some good common sense with applying this. But to give a shit about people, man. And this is, for us that are in the world services that we provide of trying to defend freedom and things like that. top boss of the Secretary of the Navy, Carlos Del Toro, released a letter last week, and I just highlighted something in there. Just for anybody out there listening who may be in a leadership position. You don't have to be in the Navy or the armed forces for this to apply to you, but he said, I encourage you to reach out to others and focus on fostering social connectedness, particularly those connections that may have been weakened during the pandemic. Here's something really I want y'all to remember. You are never alone, and there is no wrong door to get help. I especially encourage leaders to set this example. We have a duty to remove stigma and encourage others to make time for their mental health. Your actions can encourage a shipmate to get the help they need. Check in often with your fellow sailors and Marines. Help them be more socially connected. Do not wait. Do not wait. Do not wait until you see them struggling. When they need additional support, help them get connected to the services that can provide them. Or maybe you just be there. You can be the difference. Together we must fight stigma, promote mental health education, and normalize taking care of our mental health. And that's normalizing it just in all the other ways as well. But we do that with those actions, and then with your getting to know your people, that connectedness, understanding when they're off, not waiting. Like he said, don't wait until you see them struggling or till an incident occurs or till there's no point of return. Stop it now, right? And we also, as individuals, to your point earlier, we have a responsibility ourselves to know when we're pushing to the brink and to say, maybe I need more than just talking to my friend right now.
Yeah.
There are these other resources out there. So this is not one size fits all. This is why it's a complex issue. And it's as unique as our fingerprints. Everyone wants a QR code and be individualized, but look at your end of your fingers. You're about as individual as that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what I mean? Nature done gave it to us. So just be there for each other, man. Give a shit. Give a fuck about the people around you, man. Whether you're related to them, whether you work with them, whatever. It could just be that stranger on the street. Hold the fucking door. You know what I mean? Just try to be a light in this world. It's already dark enough, and you're already fucking complaining about it enough. So why not try to be the change you want to see and fix it? Be a light to the situation. We're here anyway. We're fucking here anyway, right?
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Might as well make the best of it and be there for people. What you say about that?
No, yeah, you're right. And I think that a lot of people get lost in the mix because it's hard to try to check in with every single person. Sure. So we try to help those though that we see, and especially when you see somebody that you can tell people's body language goes so far.
Yeah, it does.
And you can read people's body language. I know you can, and I know I'm similar in that I can read people's body language. You can usually read a room pretty good too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but I think you're absolutely right. Just helping people.
Yeah.
Just offering a helping hand, because a lot of times people don't get asked, how you doing today, man?
Yeah. I love Justin. He was on here a few weeks ago. Justin just crushed it, the open mic the other night. He sang Goo Goo Dolls. And I don't want to want. It was all right. I'm gonna stop, but it was fucking good. All right, but Justin has said he has a rule of 2, but no more than 3. And I was like, what the fuck you mean? He said, you ask somebody how they're doing. Hey man, how you doing? We're conditioned to go straight, cool, fine, all right. Some people, another day, whatever, right? But he said, no, Handro, how you doing?
Yeah.
If you have the time, obviously. If we're walking down the fucking, if we're waving down the street, we're driving past each other, it might not be the time to be like, hey, you want to have a podcast together right now? You know what I mean? Like, there's judgment here, right? Hey, so I got the mic and my mixer, and we're ready. We're ready to do it right now. But no, he said 2, but no more than 3, because 3 gets weird. I was like, oh, because I'm bad about that, because I'll be like at home, hey, you okay? Hey, babe, you okay? You seem off. Hey, are you okay? You know what I mean? Whatever, codependency or whatever. I'm just like that. I want everybody around me to be happy, but that's the people pleaser in me or whatever. But it comes from a good place. So no more than 3, because then it gets weird. And she's like, well, fuck, I'm just me right now. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let me know if you want to talk. And there's many times my wife will tell me, you've used all your words for the day, so you just need to shut up because you're always talking shit. And I was like, okay, all right, very well.
What did I say that one day? Not to you, but I was like, there's probably someone out there that talks so much they get punched in their dreams.
Yeah, I do. A lot of times, yeah, I do. But Justin, before I go running my mouth in another direction, it said 2, no more than 3. So it's, hey, what's up? How you doing, man? Good? No. How you doing? And then see where it goes. Don't press for 3. It might get weird, right? Or you might get punched in your dream. I don't know. But to genuinely ask people sincerely, man, and to what the chaplain of the entire Marine Corps said, Rear Admiral Cash, he said, be there. Just be there. And sometimes that's all it is, just that conversation, man. It could just carry somebody through, because some of these moments in life, man, they're dark, they're twisted. You said it yourself. You were guilty of overthinking and overstressing things and shit like that. And you just get that, like, they call them grounding techniques, where it's like you're like stressed out and it's like, name me 3 animals that start with G. You know, you get them out of that situation. You're like, tell me 3 things you can hear right now. They look around or whatever like that. And it's the mindful technique or grounding technique to take the conscious mind and not focus it on the negative and get their mind off it. So sometimes we have to do it in our own lives, man. Like, you call it healthy outlets. I call it sometimes, for me, meaningful distractions.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just distracting myself from certain shit. That doesn't mean I can't make time and just, you know, stifle these feelings and not process them. I'm not saying that, or escape them or numb them with some substance or something, because, you know, if you're having a bad day and you just go drink it off, that might not be the best way to go. And you didn't really fix your problem at all, or nor did you learn how to really go through it and learn how to cope with it. So think about that. But we have to be willing to know that it's going to pass, man. It's going to pass, and to be there for each other and look for that healthy outlet or that distraction to be able to put ourselves into for a second. And sometimes that's all it is, man. Maybe it is that run. You're in a bad mood, just fucking go for a walk. Go for a run. Like, mood follows action, not action follows mood, because that's that old, well, I'm going to start running when I feel like it. You ain't never going to fucking feel like it.
Exactly. No, yeah.
You're never going to feel like it. Yeah. We got to get out there and just fucking do it. Stop talking about it. Now go do it. What's the better version of yourself? Is it what you're doing right now? Good for you. Maybe that means you need to go set an example or help somebody else. Or, I think we can all say this, are we not living our best version of ourselves? And how can we as individuals self-actualize and actually get better ourselves individually? That's a day-by-day challenge, and that means something different to everybody. That is so fucking hard, and I am such a hypocrite some days. You know what I mean? People are going to hear this and go, well, I actually saw him just sitting there feeling sorry for himself the other day. He was looking on, you know, hey, I get in my feels too. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I had a day like that last week where a friend of mine, him and I were hitting it every day, like going play basketball or going for a run. And I think there was one day last week, I was like, I'm not going to message him today. And then I was like, what are we doing? And he's like, man, I think we need to take this day off.
That's okay.
I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I was like, let's just take a hard reset, relax.
But how many days went by for y'all to say that though?
Oh, we had been at it for almost a week straight.
Okay, see, that's good. Like, you know, I don't think you should work out 7 days a week.
Yeah,
you may do something physical. Like, one day I usually try to do 2 days for, like, just stretching, just sitting and chilling, just stretching, right? But to each their own. I'm not saying be like Cam. I'm saying be the best version of you. But too often we go 2 days and we're like, I need me a fucking break.
Yeah, and we could feel it though, because there were, like I said, there was some days where, like, I would go at lunch or in the morning with my guys. Yeah, and then, like, that night, hey, right back at it in the court, at the court, and then it's just like, yeah, man, we need to take a breather.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
that's all good. You know, there's nothing wrong with taking a break, but I think if we're honest, a lot of us want to take a break too soon.
Absolutely.
You know, we need to maybe instead of procrastinating, I think Jocko said this, like, procrastinating on the day off. You know,
just, when is that day off?
Take it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just say, I'm gonna take a rest day, but not today. Maybe tomorrow. Again, judgment. You don't want to overstress yourself, overexert yourself, because then what really sucks is you get like a fucking herniated disc or a hernia or shin splints or stress fractures. But I think there's a lot of people that are just a little sore. And they're like, I don't want to get stress fractures, so I'm just going to take the next 3 weeks off. It's like, I don't think you need that much. Okay.
But I think it goes back to being uncomfortable, is that people, they'll go for a run or go lift weights or do some type of workout, and they're like, this hurts. It's like, you know why it hurts? Yeah. And I just told someone this the other day. I'm like, you know why your legs hurt? And they're like, why? I'm like, because you're not used to running.
That's right. That's it.
And that's what.
That's it.
Like, you know why 3 miles hurts? No, because you're not used to doing it.
That's right.
That's why you need to get out here and do it more.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's growth in that. There's growth in there, man. I mean, you hear the Will Smith where he talks about it, about, like, you know, muscle failure, you know. Literally, you're seeking to the point of failure, and how do muscles grow? Just whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's running or lifting weights or whatever. They're tearing down. You feed and you rest them the right way. You stretch them the right way, and you build them back up stronger. That's us. That's us in a nutshell as far as life. But if you've never ran before, if you've never went through anything before, if you've never challenged yourself before, and then you get met with a little bit of friction in life, you fall apart. And those human factors will always play into everything that we do. And that's a human factor, friction. And I mean, goodness gracious, what it can do for you as far as taking you out of the fight of life. And there's growth in the struggle. We know what PTSD, what's it stand for?
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
We all know that shit.
Yeah.
PTSG, what's that stand for?
I don't know the G.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look it up. And I'm not saying this to dog you, because I was the same way. There's something called post-traumatic stress growth. Post-traumatic stress growth. And there's just about as much literature written, medical literature and stuff like that, studies and stuff on PTSD as there is PTSD, but we focus on the disorder and the problem of it. There are a lot of people who went through traumatic experience and they are forever a better person. They're not happy it happened. They're not like, yeah, I'm so glad that happened to me, right? But they live life in a much more meaningful way, right? And they have a much they have a sense of urgency about life a little different than those who haven't went through those things, or they haven't lost somebody or something like that. But there's PTSD. There's post-traumatic stress growth. Look that shit up. But just how we're negatively biased, and I think a lot of, I think our societal norms don't help us in that regard anymore. But it's on us at the end of the day. But just know that there's also growth associated with these disorders, So that blew my mind when I really looked into it.
I really want to look into that myself now, too.
PTSD. It's a real fucking thing, man.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us, if we reflect, we've had some PTSD moments or just some growth moments through friction. So sometimes when you're going through something, maybe this is just training for something else. Maybe it's just preparing you to help someone else. Or maybe it's just for your own growth. Maybe it's just for your own growth. And you don't know why. And I don't think we're going to hurt our brains trying to figure out why certain things happen.
Yeah.
Look, man, some people and some things just fucking suck. We got to be able to be resilient and go through it. But just know that somebody else has been through it before. They'll go through it again. They've gotten through it. You can too. You can too. There's nobody special. Everyone's important, but there's nothing special about somebody else that you can't get through the same thing. And if they could, then why can't you? And maybe this is just training for you to get through something harder. I don't know.
Yeah.
But to sit here and be a fucking victim and to sit here and sulk and have a fucking pity party, well, it's not going to fix nothing either. So if you don't like what's going on, man, change it. And if you don't know what to do, reach out to somebody. Don't be afraid to reach out and say, man, I'm just being a piece of shit right now. Can you give me give me some advice, or go talk to that professional, or even here on Iwakuni, people are like, I don't work out because I don't know how to work out. Well, go to fucking Jeremy King over at Semper Fit and talk with him. They have that machine that'll calibrate you, let you know how many fucking calories you need to burn for a whole day and to just survive, let alone what you should do to actually lose weight or gain weight or whatever your goal is. But there's ways out there, but that means you got to go on your time to go over there, and that might be a little uncomfortable.
Now you might miss an episode that you wanted to watch.
Yeah.
You had planned out for Netflix.
You're gonna miss the Tonight in the Smoke Pit, y'all. Oh shit.
Yeah, you might miss all that.
And there's time and place for everything. I'm not dogging those things out. I'm not saying there's not time to rest, to binge on some Netflix, to chill, to have some fast food, to just relax. Look, we all do it. Those times can be necessary to some extent. But I think we rely on those times a little too much, if we're being honest.
Absolutely.
And not making the most of the time we have. And if we love life, don't waste time. For time is what life is made up of, man.
I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
How did he die?
That's a point of contention right there. I'd like to think he had an allergic reaction to a medicine he took, which is kind of the theory. I don't know.
I said, you think so?
I don't know. And then there was, I think he could have been. I think there's a lot of people that would like to have seen somebody like him dead. So there could have been some of that going on with it. I know it was a tragedy, and he was only 32 years old.
He's 32?
32.
Okay. 32
years old in a healthy body, and there's a lot. And then some people are saying now it could have been hyponatremia. He could have died from having too much water. And it's kind of like irony to say, be water, my friend, and dies from drinking too much water. I don't know. I just know he obviously left a big impact, and it was gone way too soon.
I didn't mean to
no.
curve
not
directions.
at all, man. No, it's not offensive. I just know that there's when these celebrities die, there's all these theories and stuff like that.
Branch off into
I'm all about it, man.
The reason I ask is I'm super big into conspiracy theories and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I'm very. I think, and I'm convinced he didn't die. He was killed.
I wouldn't doubt it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he was definitely a person that was. I mean, we love him now. I love him, but he was not popular in his time. He was never Chinese enough for the Chinese. He was never American enough for the Americans, and he was very influential. And he was doing things and speaking on things that some people are like, you need to shut the fuck up.
And I know China's their version of Hollywood had an issue.
A lot of people had a lot of issues with Bruce Lee, man. All shapes and forms, all sides of the ocean too. So I would not rule that out. I just know it's a tragedy that he passed. But while he was here, man, here I am sitting here wearing a T-shirt with him sitting here saying on here, defeat is a state of mind, right? Jeet Kune Do, but 32 years old, the impact he had. right? And how it echoes, and it still echoes. So he still lives on, through others and through the effect he's had on others. I mean, I got it on my arm. I got his handwriting right here. Be water, my friend. You know what I mean? So when those hard times come, you got to be water. You got to keep flowing around it. Water is like, it gives life, and get hit with a wave. or how much pounds per square inch is in water. Like, water can fucking destroy everything as well, right? So be water, my friend.
I remember growing up and we VHSs back in the day. Yep. So my parents, they would always buy movies. My dad, and then as we got older, obviously switched over to DVDs.
Yeah, we're going to Suncoast and looking for all the movies that were out.
So we had a big collection of DVDs. But no, so I would go through the movies to see what kind of movies we had in there, and I remember grabbing one, and I'm like, "What the heck is this?" And there's just some guy like this, and I'm like, "What is this movie?" I pop it in one time, and I forget which one it is, because I know Enter the Dragon was my favorite one of his. But it's the one with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
It's Game of Death, I think.
Is that Game of Death?
Yeah, I think it's Game of Death.
I watched that one, and I just remember being like,
might
what?
be Chinese. No, it's not Chinese Connection. I think it's Game of Death.
I was like, what is this movie?
That's where he's wearing this yellow suit right here.
Yeah, and that was
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah,
and that was my first experience of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Of seeing, like, the first time I ever saw him, I was like a kid, like I said, because I used to just grab random movies from my dad's collection. Like, they would have all the movies in one spot, and I would just dig through. And I was just
amazing
like,
human, man.
I was like, I don't know what this is. And then,
amazing human.
And then as I got older, and then I watched other things, and then I finally, I remember I saw Enter the Dragon. I was like, oh, this is that guy.
This is that guy?
I was like, oh. And I was just mesmerized.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a dope movie.
Yeah, man. He was amazing. You know what's sad, though, is, and some people are like, this dude says he's got a tattoo of him and all this stuff, and he can't remember the exact movie. I could have been wrong. It might not have been a Game of Death. I think it is. But I have been more blown away and am more of I love his martial arts and the movies and stuff, but the dude's writings, man, and his expressions, his philosophy, his poetry, bro. He's got one thing in Striking Thoughts is the book, but it's like a kind of an omelet of everything, a mix up of all the things Bruce Lee wrote on. But he said about friends, he said, false friends you can find everywhere, like autumn leaves, you can find everywhere. That's false friends. True friends are like diamonds, precious and rare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the dude is just so beyond his time, the way he thought about things, using no way as way. A lot of Taoism and Taoism and just Buddhist philosophies woven into just being a good dude and a hard worker and self-discovery. Like he said, there's no all knowledge is self-knowledge. Like, dude, I can quote Bruce Lee for so long because. So that, as I've gotten older, when I was a kid, I used to love all of those. Like, I remember I used to try to save up to get the box set, and like the dragon set of all of them. And but as I've gotten older, man, I know the clips, I know the scenes. I love his movies; they're great. But I actually love like his messages. Like they hit me like that. But that's just me. I mean, how many quotes have I said? That's just what works for me. But man. Such an influential person. And his daughter, she had the Bruce Lee podcast where she expressed a lot of stuff. And anybody out there aspiring artist, there's an episode with Hoon Lee. Hoon Lee is one of the actors and writers on the show Warrior, because his daughter found his writings and they started this show Warrior. And it's on HBO. It's really, really good. But it's like it was made for him, basically.
It's crazy. Well, to touch on what you said with his saying about friends.
Yes.
My dad growing up, I remember he told me one time, he's like, you'll find out who you're really close with when you have to move.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, if you ever have to move, he's like, and you'll ask some people to come help you. You'll see who you're really close with.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so weird to think about, but it's true. It's small things like that. Or if you need a ride to the airport, someone to pick you up. Hey, I got you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you could reach out to so many people and they're like, I got something going on, man.
Yeah. I mean, because it's again. Convenience.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things are a matter of convenience, you know, whether it's relationships or hard work or moments. But like during those hard times, during those not so convenient times, who are you then? Whether it's to yourself or to others. And you know, friends are friends when it's not at all convenient. It's like, oh, I got to take care of this. So, you know, what kind of friend are you being? What kind of friend am I being to those around us? What kind of messages are we sending? What kind of effect are we having day to day? And I think about Maya Angelou said to her son, he was having a hard time making friends, and she said, if you want to get a friend, be a friend. you know. So it's like, you know, golden rule, treat people how you want to be treated, all that kind of good stuff. But man, you never know how the effect you can have. Look, we're still talking about Bruce Lee. We've talked about this, a lot of these other famous people in history, but like just what he sold into his daughter and the example he set, she's still touching people's lives with his message all these years later, and so many different platforms. And it's like, I'm not saying we'll ever be on that level, but in our own way, we can be just as effective to those around us. You don't have to be famous to be somebody's celebrity. You know
do you get offended when people talk bad about Bruce Lee?
No, because I think a lot of times people are misinformed or they have a different opinion, and that's fine. No, I don't get mad. I don't get mad.
I was talking to my friend of mine about it, and I was like, we look at these athletes, these musicians, people of like that stature, that level, and how much they matter to us in our lives and how they influence us, and we read about them, we learn as much as we can about them, and I was like, we've never met this person in our lives.
No, never.
And I go, and then when the moment somebody talks bad about them, we're like, whoa, what'd you say?
What'd you say about what?
And I was like, but it's so crazy. We have this connection to these people we've never met in our lives.
Yeah, humans are funny, man. We are funny like that. And I don't, nowhere like with idolatry or like he's like a god to me or anything like that. You know, I don't think you should worship any human for sure. I just don't believe in that. But people could be very important to you.
No, absolutely.
Right? But yeah, I'm not. If somebody wants to say or criticize somebody I admire, I'm like, okay. But what I won't do is like with a friend, go along with it, like be a gossip and go along with stirring the pot. Because if you're sitting amongst the people who are talking shit on somebody, just know that when you walk away, they're gonna be talking shit on you. You know what I'm saying? So be careful with the gossips. And gossip is literally in definition just talking about somebody while they're not there. So it could be in good too. So I've been gossiping my ass off about Bruce Lee today and some other people, right? But we know in the context of the negative side of it, it's just poison. I think the ancient Toltecs, Don Miguel Ruiz writes about them in the Four Agreements. Be impeccable with your word is the first agreement, and it's so deep in the fact that in their culture, the ancient Toltecs, they thought of gossip as poison, to speak ill of somebody period. But be careful with what your tongue puts out in the world. So, I mean, I've been guilty of it. Everyone's been guilty of it. But it's like a fucking pastime for a lot of people. Just sit around and talk shit on people. You know what I mean? And that's not cool. And if you go along with it, it's like, that's not cool either. Like, I want to be able to hopefully have an impact on people to where when I'm not there, they'd stop somebody else and be like, hey, man, you don't know that person. You know what I mean? And that's why I say, like, with Bruce Lee, like, I don't think they really know the full story. Or they haven't really looked into, they just see the guy in the movies while he did speak good English, but they made him fucking sound like he didn't because they did the voiceover shit. Like, how are you? And the mouth keeps moving, and it's like, this dude spoke clearly, man. What the fuck did you do this for? But different times, man. Different times. But
no, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, we shouldn't take shit so personal though. That's for sure. That's another agreement. Don't take what other people's opinion on me really. None of my fucking business.
You know whose opinion matters to you.
Yeah.
Like someone could, and I tell people that all the time. Like, you could say anything you want to me. You could come up and say anything, and I'm just gonna be like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, you could be like, hey man, that's an ugly car you have. Or, why are you wearing that sweater? That sweater looks horrible on you. And like, all right, man. Like
Bobby Brown said, it's my prerogative.
But some people will lose sleep over stuff like that.
No, they will. And that's because we're putting our value on the opinion of others.
Yeah.
And other people's opinion of you is none of your business. Try to have as much of effect as you have. Have a good impact on them. But really what people think of you at the end of the day, man, who gives a fuck? Like, honestly, like outside of those ones, like I got it. I care what my kids think of me. I really, really do. I care what my spouse thinks of me. You know what I mean? But like what Tom, Dick, Lisa, and Harry and all of them out there think, like, cool, if you like me, that's great, that's what's up, man, but I'm not chasing any poll ratings. I'll say that to the professional politicians. That's not me. Love me or hate me, I'm gonna be me. I'm not gonna go out of my way to be an asshole, but if you think I'm one, then that's your opinion. You know what I'm saying? But no, we want that outside acceptance and validation. And I mean, why are people posting half this shit? They want to get their likes, and then how happy they're gonna be is how many likes they got. But it's like, come on, man. You got to find that in yourself. Like, all knowledge is self-knowledge, and self-actualization is it's on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So look that up, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'll post a very good episode of, I was on some NPR podcast talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It wasn't politically motivated or inspired or anything like that, but it's just some good information on what Maslow's talking about. But on there is self-actualization. Like, you need to get to know yourself and find the best version of yourself, and that's part of life. And, Socrates, Aristotle, one of them, a life not examined is not lived to its fullest, something like that.
Yeah.
So You got to examine it and grow.
Will we ever find the best version of ourselves?
I hope not. I hope not. I hope not, because I think part of the human struggle is to have a struggle, and that's why I think it's so imperative that we find these things to have challenges.
Yeah.
Because we're made for a different time. Let's be honest, things are tough now. We have different challenges that we never had before, but at the same time, like, not so many people are worried about what they're gonna eat tonight, or where they're gonna live, or if they're gonna be harmed, or another village, or like some Walking Dead shit is gonna like take over them and take all of their resources. Like, for a lot of people, especially Americans, like, that's not a day-to-day fear. So the fact that it's been one in our brain chemistry for so long, and it's not there no more, maybe sometimes we're just sad because if I don't do shit, if I don't fucking like work out, or if I don't do things like this, or express myself, or journal, or try to do acts of kindness or volunteer work, dude, it's like, hello sadness, my old friend.
So if someone tells you, hey, I need you to sit here for a few hours and don't do anything.
I don't know if I could do that. I mean, I'll figure out a fucking way. But no, I'm better off engaging, because if I'm left to my own thoughts, it's not usually too good. But there's also a time for prayer and meditation and all that shit and reflecting. So don't hear me wrong here. I'm not saying that, but I'm better off when I'm engaged doing something that's making a difference, or what I can feel can make a difference. And me or others, I don't know. I can't just sit still. Like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah, I could tell. I think I picked up on that early on when I first met you.
Yeah. But you can use it as a strength, though.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know
it's
what
not
I'm
a
saying?
bad thing.
I like addictive personality, or enthusiastic personality. What do you want to call it? You know what I'm saying?
It's
like,
true.
I mean, I talked about this last episode with Alberto about the fucking Superman could walk around, but a mass murderer, staring at people and burning them up with his laser vision, or he could be like protecting everybody and just truth, justice for all, and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
It's all depends on how you use it, and I would rather use my makeup and my ways for good and realize, okay, yeah, I'm addicted to working out. I'm addicted to community service. I'm addicted to trying to make art. I'm addicted to trying to make a difference. I'm addicted to that, and if I'm not doing that, I'm gonna get sad. I'm gonna go through withdrawal because I want to make sure I'm doing something constructive, right?
No, I
to
got
leave
that.
an impact. But I used to use that for some other things. You know what I mean? So you get, or you could be a workaholic, or I probably do a little bit too much, but that's just how I'm wired. Like, I know what works for me and what doesn't work for me. Some people get stressed the fuck out. That's okay. I'm not dogging them, but you got to do what works for you. But I do think that if more of us did something, action, then the mood would follow that action.
You think back to, I know I do from time to time, of going home and not doing anything. And just sitting there. It's just like, man.
There's times for that.
There is.
There's times, but yeah.
The idea of just going home and just not doing a dang thing.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you're so scared of death, but this is what you're trying to preserve.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what you're trying to preserve. I think Seneca, one of the ancient philosophers, said that to like you're already dead already.
Yeah.
You so afraid of death, but ain't you dead already? Because there's a lot of zombies walking around right now. They breathing, their heart's pumping, but I don't really think they living to their full. And if you're out there listening to me right now, I'm not shitting on you. I'm not trying to talk bad about you. I'm just trying to challenge you and hopefully inspire you to be like, you know what? Fuck this. I want better. I didn't know what I didn't know. I'm going to try this shit out and see where that takes you, man. See where that takes you. But sitting there sulking and being a fucking victim, or talking about what you're going to do one day, you shut the fuck up. Stop talking, start doing. Action. Action will help. It just boils down to, we got to try to do more and be more as individuals. And I think sometimes with me, I wear myself out so much with the stuff I do that I'm literally tired, and I go to bed early. So I can wake up early and do it all again, but I live that day. It's taxing. It is taxing. It can be hard, but there's times I just sit there and be like, oh shit, because you need to rest every now and then, right?
Yeah.
But I think we could all do just a little bit more to make the world a better place. As corny as that shit sounds, I think you can make your world, if nobody else's world, just your world, just a little bit better. But I will say you can do that through helping others. And I go back to Dr. Viktor Frankl, where he said, for success, like happiness, cannot be pursued, it must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. What's that saying, man? Don't have no pity party. Don't go internal, go external. Because you can't just pursue success and happiness. They got to ensue. They're a result of things. It's not the thing. I just want to be happy. Well, tell me how that's working out.
Unless you just hit the lottery one day and then all your problems are solved.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Those are some. You know how many suicides and shit. So it's like morbid fucking depression goes along with that. You know, because you finally got that thing, like you said, your best version.
Yeah.
That was your idea of best, being rich. You get it, and you're like, oh shit, I still suck, and oh shit, my family's still peace. Oh shit, nah. That's not the key to happiness. I know you're being sarcastic with it, but there's some people that think that, and they just like a puppy chasing their tail, chasing that next thing, that next fucking thing, more fucking stuff. Like, enjoy and be grateful for the life you have right now. I say that so loudly because even this podcast, I'll listen to it afterwards. So not to be a narcissist, but also to see, did this shit sound right? Did that shit come out good? Because I'll post something, be like, oh, hey, this was, try to clean it up because I want to have an honest, real, candid reflection. But it's therapy for me, man.
You like listening to yourself?
I like listening to like kind of how the things go back and forth. But it also reinforces for me, like it's almost like talking shit and then having to back it up.
I'm terrified.
So I hear myself and I'm like, oh, you sound fucking stupid. But it also is like, hey, you did say like we got to be better and shit. So like you actually have to do that now, right? So I'm trying to like manifest it in myself and then challenge myself to do it and make that commitment. It helps me to just be like, all right, fucking, I'm accountable now.
I'm terrified to listen to my own stuff.
Yeah. Some people feel like that.
Yeah,
I don't like get off on it, not like that.
Yeah.
It's just to reflect. I don't mind it. But I also, it kind of reinforces, like, I literally just heard me say this shit, like, all things considered. So the next time I want to sulk, I can hear myself saying it, as well as the man who inspired me to put that on right here. I can't talk this shit and not back it up. Nobody wants to be a hypocrite, even though most of us are. I know I am on most days. We don't want to be one, though. So shit like that, man. Yeah.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
But I think we're getting about that time, man. I got to go put on the pretty uniform and wear a suit all day. How about you? What you gonna get into?
Normal Friday. Try to wrap things up early today. Get these guys home early.
Yeah, get them home early. So hopefully they can go out and do something and use their time wisely. Do something, engage, man. We're out here in Iwakuni. You can hit me up anytime if you got questions on resources or ways to volunteer or do things or just make things better, man. But I do want to ask, man, you want to leave the audience with anything? Any thoughts?
Enjoy yourself. Have fun. Like you said before, like don't regret anything. Just go for it. Just do something. Yeah. Even if it's not working out or going to school or whatever it may be that we talked about today. Yeah. Just do. If somebody's like, hey, you want to go here this weekend? Don't sit there and be like, oh, I don't know. Just go.
Try it out, man.
Yeah. You don't know how it's going to be. You don't know if you're going to meet somebody that might be a lifelong friend, or you don't know if you'll have one of the best experiences of your life. Now you know. It's like going to a restaurant you've never been to. I didn't like it. Now you know.
Now you know.
Now you know.
But you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
So have an open mind, man. Have an open mind. Hey, HANDRO, man, this is not the last time HANDRO is going to be on here. You are a great man, dude. You're a light. You set the example. Obviously, you're not perfect, nor am I. But we're just trying to be resilient and stay strong in this thing we call life. So we hope this message can help somebody out there, man. I thank you for your time, brother.
I appreciate you giving me the time to be on here with you.
We're going to definitely do it again. And hey, if anybody out there listening wants to be a contributor or has feedback, let me know, man. We're just trying to make this better, make it effective, and make it real for people to understand that it's okay not to be okay. Not all of us always are, but it's not okay to ignore it to where you start making permanent decisions over temporary problems. All of this shit is temporary. Much love to you all, and just remember, this too shall pass. Much love. We are sponsored by nobody.